Russia continues targeting Ukraine's energy infrastructure, damaging a nuclear installation.
Russia launched a wave of explosive drones at Sumy overnight. Ukraine said it shot down 12, but didn't account for a 13th. It may have been that which struck the electricity facility. Repair crews have been working since to restore power. Meanwhile, the governor of Russia's Belgorod region, which borders Sumy, said a deadly Ukrainian drone attack had hit a private car and minibuses transporting people he said were workers. Ukraine is eyeing Belgorod and neighbouring Russian regions nervously amid reports of a build-up of Russian troops.
That's the BBC's Danny Aberhart. Germany recalling its ambassador to Russia for a week of consultations in Berlin following an alleged hacker attack on Chancellor Schulz's party. Germany last week accused the Russian military agents of launching the cyber attack on the Social Democrat Party headquarters. Townhall.com. What's troubling the home buying market? Discover Home Loans set out to find out.
The survey found higher interest rates are having a profound impact on American homeowners. 84% who are planning to buy a new home say the interest rates have affected their decision. Of those impacted, 46% indicated they're no longer looking, 35% are less committed in their search, and 30% have lowered their budget. Interest rates are also modifying homeowners' preferred financing options. Only 9% of homeowners plan to use a cash-out refinance for their home improvement project, down significantly from 24% in 2023. Bernie Bennett reporting.
The spring storm that drenched the San Francisco Bay Area over the weekend and closed northern California mountain highways also set a single-day snowfall record in the Sierra Nevada. UC Berkeley's Central Sierra Snow Lab says the storm laid down 26.4 inches of snow, making for the snowiest day of the season. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio. Yeah!
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Monday, everybody.
Welcome back.
Welcome to your Monday. Hope everyone had a great weekend.
Mundanity.
Got another day of fire weather watches and red flag warnings.
A lot of wind, a lot of heat, a lot of springtime around Roswell.
Yeah, although it was a little cooler over the weekend compared to like last week.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, we were
at least what the wind was pushing around wasn't as hot.
This is true.
It was a nice wind.
Yes.
I mean, it was a nice mean wind. It was very mean. It was kicking up a lot of dust devils, a lot of nonsense all over the place.
Was it worse west in Cruces?
As we ventured west, as you look out on the plains, you could definitely see quite a few very large dust devils springing up. I mean, we're talking like hundreds of feet tall.
Yeah.
These things, because a large portion of that area is just west of White Sands is just that real microscopic dust that just kind of sits out there.
I know that stretch
unsettled.
between Alamogordo and Las Cruces very well. Granted, it's been a year or two or 20 since I've done it, but yeah, I did that stretch.
Actually, I had that thought as we were passing by Holloman. I'm like, I wonder where Mike lived.
Yeah. Yeah, if we were standing there by the main gate, I could kind of point to you where it was, but you can't really see it from the highway. But I can give you the general vicinity. So I put this way: we see the housing at that's base housing. I was nowhere near that.
Okay.
I was a single man. I lived in the barracks.
Oh,
I
dang!
didn't live in the house.
Fancy. You didn't get housing. You got to barrack life.
Yeah, barrack life. I was a single airman. I lived in the barracks.
Nice.
So.
Where men can be men.
Yeah, you had to be married and with kids and all that to get base housing.
See, that's how they get you. Please marry me. I don't want to be in here with these dudes anymore. Henderson refuses to wash.
Base housing could be good or bad too. I've seen nice base housing. I've seen not so nice base housing. One at least back in the 90s. I don't know if that's the case now, but back in the 90s. If you found base housing with carpet in it, that was a unicorn because most of them, at least at Holloman, most of them had not even like wood floors. It was like that linoleum you find at your school. Oh wow! With the buffer and the janitor, they had floors like that and stuff. But
arguably easier to clean.
Yeah, well, that's the idea. Is
you spray them down,
and I'm pretty sure the whole base housing inspection getting out was a racket because that was because you have to pass inspections to get out and all that, and the barracks is the same way, but barracks is a little less. I mean, it's one room, it's not like a whole house, and it's not kids, and there is kids, but that.
Well, it's the kids are you.
Yeah, they're us.
Yes,
they're not like actual kids,
right?
But anyway, they. Every person I knew that lived in base housing, they'd fail the inspection the first time. Unless you just called their people. There was some number of this company that would clean. I think they charge a couple $100, and you passed every time. And you could clean it. You could Mr. Clean that thing. But unless that group went in, you'd never pass them. So it was a racket.
My argument is they got it in with the inspectors,
right?
And they're like, we're just gonna put like a pink dot right here on the bed, so we were paid. You'll get your cut.
Exactly. That's. I feel like something's going on there, but no proof.
Pretty sneaky.
Yeah. But
Lieutenant,
I know there's some games being played, some reindeer games there. But
the dust did settle once we kind of got to city side.
Nice.
It was
quite nice. Good time. Saw some pictures and got to explore
around Las
Did you Five Guys?
Didn't do the Five Guys this time. No. We kind of explored. We found this restaurant called Si Senor. Tried that place out. Had
Still
some
Italian.
Huh? Yeah, totally Italian.
That's what I thought.
I had the fettuccine. No, I had it was some mole enchiladas.
Nice.
Quite nice. It was very upscale. I will say this: I've never been more intimidated by a door to a restaurant in my entire life. You walk up to this restaurant, and there's and I'm a tall guy, but there's probably a 16 to 20 foot glass door, double door, with all this fancy like wrought iron embroidery on it. And I go to open the door, and the door opens for me as there's a man there whose sole responsibility it is. This man feeds his family by opening a door.
Nice.
That's awesome. I feel like if I didn't make it in radio, I would have moved to the big city and just become a doorman somewhere.
Nice. Because you can make a living doing it. I mean,
feels like a good
living.
gig. No, what you do is you pick up 3 or 4 door gigs.
Oh.
Yeah, you're just constantly working doors. You don't need to sleep. You could sleep at the spot. You get the buzz when somebody wants in. You let them in.
There you go.
Open the door, sir. And they hand out for tips. You work a few doors. You can make it. If you can make it indoors here, you can make it indoors anywhere.
So does one go from there to bathroom attendant, or from bathroom attendant to doors? What's the hierarchy in the of these jobs?
Doorman. Okay, so bathroom attendant is the bottom.
Is it?
But by far. When you're a man whose sole responsibility is to stand in the bathroom, offer some mints and perfumes, and then put a hand out for a tip.
See, I disagree there.
That feels bottom of the barrel.
I disagree there. I think the doorman is lower.
Really?
I look at the bathroom attendant like your neighborhood bartender. Because, yes, your job is to be a purveyor of cleanings and solutions and what have you. That's like a bartender. But how many times do world's problems get solved with the bathroom attendant in the bathroom? I'd say quite often.
If we're talking about in the sitcom world, more often than it should.
I'm
now,
just saying.
Let's go ahead and extrapolate that. Where's the one place in the entire world that you don't want to have a conversation?
Well, yeah, physically
Same.
on the bowl, but while you're there getting your lotions and colognes and what have you, I'd say, yeah, you could knock out.
It is the proverbial sitting there cleaning the bar glass.
It's dude talk. It's the barbershop of the.
So, okay. So then what's your hierarchy? So you would go bathroom attendant, doorman. Because, see, I feel like bouncer's the top. Because bouncer, you get to be a doorman, but you also get to be a doorman with, like, say.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I got this list, but if you want to while out, you're out too. It's like it's doorman with some say. And then doorman. But there's got to be something between doorman and bathroom attendant that we're missing.
Walmart greeter?
Oh, come on.
I don't know.
Those people have lived a hard life, and they deserve a little dignity.
I don't know.
Above bathroom attendant, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the bathroom attendant of all of these positions has the most influence of all. That's what I think. I think their sphere can do more good than any other sphere in there.
I was actually reminded, yes, that that's not just their sole responsibility is to open and close the door.
I'm sure
it's
they
also
do
to
have
welcome you and thank you for your dining experiences, as Ayana pointed out here. Yeah,
well, so is the bathroom attendant.
Yes,
Those all
I hope that your ablutions go well.
Is there female bathroom attendants?
God, I hope not.
I've
never
seen
seen it portrayed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, is that a thing? Like, do they have that in
No,
female
because they
bathrooms?
don't need that. Women aren't that insecure that they need a.
I think they bring it all with
them. They
them.
need a fellow with them.
Like, guys don't bring that with them. Like, it's
Yeah.
all sitting there on the table.
Now, in
Where
fairness,
women generally have everything they need in their purse, basically.
I know it's not the case with all ladies' bathrooms.
Yeah.
But the ones that because I have a daughter and I had to turn a light on, have seen the inside of, I'm intrigued. Like the bathroom here on the second floor, the ladies' room, it's nice.
Oh, yeah.
They got like seating areas, like a whole
Don't be fooled.
I'm pretty sure they have a bar in there.
Yeah, don't
Top
be fooled.
shelf.
They're not all that way.
I know.
I remember I got a rude awakening at the age of 16 when I worked at the Po Folks restaurant,
Right.
and I had to clean the bathrooms, and the women's room.
And I will argue over and over again.
16-year-old lad got an education that day.
Women's rooms are god awful
It was like out of the movie.
to clean. They're rough.
Oh my gosh.
But I also grew up watching Boy Meets World. And on Boy Meets World, in the ladies' room, at least in the senior year, they had a couch. They said, why do you get a couch in your bathroom? Sometimes we just need to sit.
So do we.
Yeah, exactly. Don't I deserve to sit? When's going to be my sit?
That's right. But yes.
But all good weekend.
Yeah, good.
Good
Yeah, we'll
times.
talk a little bit more.
Yeah,
about
for sure.
Other things other than bathroom attendants.
Hey, we still got to figure that hierarchy out.
It's almost like a episode of Big Bang Theory where he goes on the train to Sheldon decides to leave, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I went to California," and he's like, "Well, what'd you see? The train station was really nice. You know which one had who has Heinz ketchup at this train station?" It was all that. I feel like that was the trip there, but no. There was other things. You know what bathroom they had at the McDonald's? But
Hey, man, I like to explore.
I saw all the bathrooms in
That's right.
Oscars.
That's right.
But let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. Here in just a few minutes, we'll be joined by Robert Sherman with Walker Aviation Museum. Get an update from there. They got a lot going on over at the museum. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we're going to replay our interview we had with Barbara Gomez from Main Street Roswell. She joined us Friday to give us an update on things happening in and around Main Street Roswell, talk a little UFO festival, talk to just little downtown merchants, things like that. So we'll play that conversation for you here in the 8 o'clock hour. And then around 9:15, Amy McVeigh-Tejas will join us from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico. And then on the phone, we're going to have author Dewey Johnson, and we're going to talk a little baseball, talking about his book, One Last Doubleheader, and
Nice.
talking Roswell Rockets, Joe Bauman, and talk a little bit about his book and all that. So that should be a fun little nostalgic trip down baseball history here in the 9 o'clock hour this morning. So.
Very cool. According to the chat, I was checking in. She said at the O'Hare Airport, yes, there are bathroom attendants for women.
Oh, sweet.
So you know what? Equality right there.
Chicago.
That's right. But I mean, that's got to be if you're the one. because it's got to be a rare gig, bathroom attendant in general, but then you're the one for the women's room. It's like, what's that mantra like in the morning? Wake up, you're getting ready, you're putting your neckerchief on, looking yourself in the mirror going, mince or gum?
I don't know. I feel like
a spritz.
I just feel like they are the fountains of wisdom we all need at certain times in our lives.
No, you know what? You just reminded me. That's what it is. So above bathroom attendant, wise old dishwasher. Wise old dishwasher, always in the back in the shadows, smoking a cigarette, but he's got some stuff to say.
Spitting his bars of knowledge in his 50s to 16-year-old kids in the dishwashing.
You know you're going to get some real wisdom when you see long drag. You know, young blood. You know you're about to get some wisdom.
Absolutely. It's true. All right, it is 18 minutes after 7. Let's get you up to date on the weather. We got red flag warnings and all that today.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good today, except for the gusty wind at 20 to 40 miles an hour through the day. We will have some sunshine, though. Afternoon high will be in the upper 80s, down to 50 and still pretty windy for the overnight hours under clear skies. We'll hit about 90 for the afternoon high on Tuesday, still breezy but not as windy, and we get a sunny day, sunshine on Wednesday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 62 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 65%. Winds currently out of the southwest at 10 miles per hour. We do have a fire weather watch kicking in. That is for tomorrow. Today we have the red flag warning that's going to become in effect at 11 this morning, remain in effect through 8 p.m. tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a fire weather watch from 11 to 8 p.m. That'll probably upgrade as well, too. But today they're talking patchy blowing dust for late afternoon. Sunny and a high of 86 today. Winds will be out of the west, 15 to 20 this morning, increasing 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour later this afternoon. Tonight, clear skies and breezy with an overnight low of 50. West winds, 15 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. Winds will drop down 5 to 15 after midnight tonight. Tuesday, more of the same. Patchy blowing dust for the afternoon, sunny and 92. Southwest winds 5 to 10 in the morning, 15 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour by tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow night, clear skies, breezy, overnight low of 57. Southwest winds 20 to 25, gusting as high as 40 miles per hour. Those winds dropping down 10 to 15 after midnight Tuesday. Wednesday, sunny and 88. Northwest winds more manageable, 10 to 15 miles per hour. For you Thursday, sunny and 82. And then Friday and Saturday and Sunday, slight chances of rain, like 20% chances of rain right now. But Friday, cooler, partly cloudy, 75. Saturday, partly cloudy and 80 with a 20% chance of rain, and partly cloudy, 82 with a 20% chance of rain Sunday. All right, it's 7:21. We're going to get you into your Roswell Livestock Report, quick break, and then Robert Sherman with Walker Aviation Museum will join us on the other side. Don't go away.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A good May run this week with a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native calves, light yearlings, cow-calf pairs, rope and size calves. We expect to sell 1,150 head. Break it down like this: 175, 200 weighing cows and bulls, 100, 125 pairs of bred cows, 800, 850 calves and yearlings. Today's sale will include 50 to 60 cow-calf pairs, mostly framey, thin pairs with good calves at their side. These pairs 5 to 10 years old. 10 bred cows, Smith Ranch, Hobbs, New Mexico. Excellent quality red white-face English crossbred cows bred to Angus bulls, 4 to 8 years old. 12 bred cows, Pelican Ranch, Wink, Texas. Good quality black white-face Angus crossbred cows bred to Angus or Charolais bulls. Cows 4 to 8 years old. 86 calves, 3 Bar Cattle Company, Jow, New Mexico. Excellent quality black white-face and red Angus crossbred calves out of high-quality Angus heifers. Bovishield Gold 7 weight Brandon. About 65 of these calves weigh 250 to 350. 20 of these calves, 150 to 250 they are roping size, and several other roping size calves in the sale today. 62 Holstein steers, Corrales Dairy right here at Roswell. Excellent quality Holstein steer calves, 2 rounds of shots, bunk broke, 350, 550 pounds. 25 heifer calves and light yearlings, Kincaid Brothers here at Pinon, New Mexico. Excellent quality black Brangus crossbreds, cattle weaned, thin to medium condition, 400, 650 pounds. 30 steer calves, Mr. Ernie Gremlin at Yeso, New Mexico. Excellent quality black white face Angus crossbred calves, cattle weaned 80 days, Bovishield Gold 7-way, thin condition, 400, 500 pounds. 20 light yearlings, Mr. Melvin Foley, Hope, New Mexico. Ex-quality black white face Angus crossbred yearlings, medium condition right off grass, 500, 650 pounds. 31 calves, Charlie King, Van Horn, Texas. Excellent quality black white face Angus and Brangus cross calves, thin to medium condition, 350, 500 pounds. 26 calves, Thomas Richardson, Salt Flat, Texas. Good quality black white face, red white face crossbred calves, thin condition, 250, 400 pounds. Sale time this morning be 9 o'clock. Sell pairs of bred cows 10. Be selling calves and yearlings about 10:45 to 11. We expect to sell 1,150 head here today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
The Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop invites you to move on in and check out the fantastic selection of threads, fabrics, and patterns. Take advantage of a huge sale on Brother sewing machines. If you just want to tune up on your own machine, bring it on over for in-house maintenance. And with free lessons at the Calico Cow, you can learn from some of the absolute best. Let's keep the tradition and art of sewing going. The Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop, 200 East College in Roswell, right behind Farley's. Want to know how? Come see the cow.
Senator Greg Nybert is known as a conservative Republican who is effectively fighting for us in Santa Fe. In the last session, Greg Nybert helped stop harmful legislation that would penalize New Mexico businesses with outrageously expensive financial burdens. He knows small businesses do not need more regulation. Greg Nybert helped defeat progressive attempts to make it illegal for New Mexicans to own certain types of firearms and firearm accessories. He knows it's important to protect our rights. During his legislative career, Greg has been responsible for stopping numerous anti-oil and gas bills. He knows it is important to protect our jobs. Senator Greg Nybert is the only candidate for District 27 who has a proven record of protecting us from big government intrusion. Greg Nybert stands for the rights of the people and pledges to continue his work. Please vote for Greg Nybert for Senate District 27.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Senate.
At UNM, Lobos are building the future every day. Together, we're reimagining water sustainability, engineering the future of healthcare, pushing for progress and inspiring a generation of minds. Ignite your future at apply.unm.edu.
The inventor of Pringles is buried in a Pringles can. I wonder if they got their hands stuck putting him in there. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:26, and joining us in studio this morning from the Walker Aviation Museum, Robert Sherman back with us this morning. Good morning, Robert.
Morning.
How's life in your world this morning?
It's pretty good. We got a bunch of family coming in this week.
Ah, good deal.
Sister and cousins and her husband. And
ooh, so get to play host this week. Huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Good deal. Are they?
Are there? You know, they used, of course, to live here in Roswell.
So that's not like
they're
you have
kind of
to
coming
show
home
them
to
around.
yeah.
So do you have to basically take them to all their favorite haunts while they're here? Places they miss while they,
yeah, maybe.
Favorite places for a green chili cheeseburger, favorite place for a burrito, all this stuff.
Yeah, actually, you're right. We've got I won't say over the radio where we're going, but it's
everyone's got their
particular
favorites.
restaurant that we're going to go to.
Yeah, that's kind of you got to do it there. Well, good. That sounds like you had a fun week of family with in store for you here. But, well, I imagine a trip to the museum with the family will probably happening at some point during the week as well, too.
Probably, yeah.
But for folks not familiar, the Walker Aviation Museum, its home is in the air terminal there down at the Air Center. And the museum, first and foremost, it honors the people and the things that took place when before that was a civilian airport and a college and everything else out there. It was an Air Force base, an Army Air Base, and an Air Force base. And then So we celebrate the history and the people of Walker Air Force Base, Roswell Army Airfield, and then also a tribute to the Cold War. This during especially the early years of the Cold War, those first generation ICBMs, Roswell called, they were called. Roswell was their home, or a home for some of those during that time.
Atlas F missiles.
Yeah, and then of course, too, we really there's a focus and shift for STEM and education and inspiring young people to pursue careers in STEM technology, and of course, career fields in the aviation industry too.
Yeah.
So
As a lead-in, our mission statement is to educate and inspire all generations concerning the history and legacy of Walker Air Force Base, and encourage our youth to explore careers in science, technology, engineering, and math, with an emphasis on aviation.
Absolutely. Really, sure, I highly recommend you come into the museum and visit and do all that. But if you're looking for resources, information, you could easily just go to the museum's website and probably find links and everything you need for everything you're trying to pursue as far as information-wise when it comes to careers, to just whetting your beak and interest in different types of possibilities through STEM and through the museum that are opportunities there.
Thanks to Juliana Halverson. She got our website set up really well, and that's kind of what we really advertise a lot. And we just got through about last week, about 10 days ago, we met with the principals of the 4 high schools in Roswell. And there's other ones, the Gateway and stuff. But anyway, we're going to meet with those two. But we gave them, each of the principals, a group of counting how many teachers they have under them, our business card, and a little sheet that kind of describes how, if you click on education under our website, all the stuff that you can actually access on your computer or actually on your smartphone.
Gotcha.
And we do this all the time for visiting people coming in. We ask them, they initially think, "You're sure being nosy." I said, "You got any kids or grandkids, 13 to 18? And they go, "Yeah, they're from Tennessee or Connecticut."
Sure.
I say, "Well, here's a card. Go down to our website and go to education. And as you go down on that site, Juliana's got it set up so we can, say, well, if we bring in a group, which we do occasionally, where they can get on this. In that case, they can actually get on the flight simulators, while half of them watch some things on our site, and we show them. Initially starting out how to develop a Venn diagram to determine what's the best career for you, and then we show them careers in aviation and Eastern New Mexico University of Roswell Aviation Maintenance Technician Program, a day in the life of a wind turbine engineer, and a Crumlin Auto Group and Eastern New Mexico University of Roswell Auto Mechanic Program, career energy careers and career clusters, oil well workers career video, what does a registered nurse do, and then we show them 4 Air Force 2-minute little things. One is aerospace ground equipment, one is air traffic control, the other one's electronic principles, and then another Air Force recruiting video is geospatial intelligence. And then the last one we show them is a day in the life at CIA, showing 6 different hiring areas at CIA. So we got that advertisement out of the back of a lot of science magazines. The CIA is advertising stuff.
Interesting. They can only show you part of it.
And they can touch that on their smartphones and play that entire videos, all those videos.
Yeah, just to give them an interest or give them, an idea on what the possibilities are there. And as you could see, a lot of those STEM-related career fields actually don't step foot in an aircraft or anything. I mean, yeah, some of them do there, but, a lot of that is overall STEM, oil field to the airfield in between. So.
Yeah, the one on the, it's kind of fun, the day in the life of a wind turbine engineer, that's out of Dover, England. And they're going out to in the ocean there, where they have a big, giant wind
turbine.
Farm. Yeah, turbine farm.
Turbine.
So I said, only difference in this one and that one, instead of a boat, you'd be driving your pickup truck.
That's right. Don't need a life vest.
Yeah, you don't need a life vest. As a matter of fact, they talk about that going into the North Sea. It's kind of like, it's pretty cold out there. You don't want to fall in there.
Yeah, they probably have those like those suits that the deadliest catch crab fishermen wear. Those big, what are I guess they're like emergency suits.
Thermal suits, yeah.
Yeah, because that gets sub-freezing.
Another thing we show people, and you can still get that same information off of our website, is onetonline.org. ONETON, like ONET Online. It stands for Occupational Network Online.
Okay.
And it actually has an area where you open the first page, and it has, I think it has nurse practitioner or something on there. You just can type in whatever you're interested in.
Okay.
And it'll give you that job, or if you don't have exactly that job, it'll list maybe 5 or 6 jobs that are very similar.
In the ballpark.
Yeah, and then you can click on that, and you're taken to all kinds of, maybe I'd say 15, 20 pages of information.
Wow.
Of what your skills have to be, and what your job day-to-day is going to be like, and if depends on where you are, and you put in your zip code, where you can get training. Also, it tells how many people are working at that job and how many they expect to hire in the next 10 years. So it just gives them all kinds of information.
Outlooks,
they can help them make decisions.
Absolutely, yeah. And just find what's interesting to them. And again, if you go in the museum's website, it's www.wafbmuseum.org. The WAFB is short for Walker Air Force Base.
Right.
Museum.org. And there you can go there. First thing you'll see is a little button that says Donate Now. If you have a financial ability to help out and want to do that, that's a great way to support the Walker Aviation Museum. Because obviously it takes a lot of money to run that thing and to keep going, and of course it's free to go to the museum and participate in all that stuff. So if you like to support financially, that's a great way to do it. You can just click that button and take care of that pretty easily here, especially since Amazon stopped their Smile program and all that. That's kind of not a way for funding to come into the museum anymore. So
Right.
So hitting that Donate Now button would be very greatly appreciated too. So
Yeah.
and so when you're there checking out all the different career fields and everything else, and you're thinking, man, this really helped, click that Donate Now button, throw a couple dollars to the museum.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Ron Lynch, bless his heart, has given us a lot of stuff. He's built that little bicycle that they can pedal, and a little fan blows and the light pole comes on. And,
Yeah. Show them about how electricity and all that
He
stuff
also
works.
built this Jacob's ladder. It's 10,000 volts, and they just pull the little switch down, and
Yeah.
this lightning goes up these 2
Kids love
rods.
seeing that stuff, and it
Yeah,
really
yeah.
explains to them, and also shows them electricity and its form is coolness, but it also, when you don't respect it, it can bite you too.
We get some visitors in. They may have a child with them, and so I say, I think, come over here, let me show you something, and have them do that. I said, I have something interesting for your kid. So after I do that, the parent goes, well, I find that pretty cool too.
You found something interesting for mom and dad.
Yeah, you don't have to be 10 years old like that. So anyway.
Yeah. And then, of course, if don't forget, it's the history side too.
Yeah,
so if you're the
absolutely,
history buff and you want to come and see and hear some of the stories, they're always looking for more docents, volunteers. And if you are a people person and love to talk to people and hear their stories and share stories, docent might be a cool little fun gig for you, especially at the museum. Now that we're getting into the summer months, people start taking vacations and things. So as people get free time, we're going to see more families that coming through this summer that are going to, maybe grandma or grandpa or the family spent time here in Roswell in the 60s or 50s or some other time during that base period. And so now they come to meet where grandpa served or where grandma or where they lived, during, during World War II, my dad was here doing this, my grandfather was here. So, and to me, the people that volunteer, people we've had on the show here that work, that they always say that's the most favorite part, when these families come in and they, mom and dad, they were on the base baseball team, and here's their jacket. There's so much of that, those personal family life for a family here at Walker Air Force Base back when it was a thriving base. We get a lot of stories and a lot of shared experiences about that. people donate things all the time, jackets or uniforms or books and things from the period.
Right.
And so the museum has a lot of that stuff. So come see it, but if you're looking to volunteer, make a difference, and looking for something, this summer to do, be a docent. It's a cool job. It's really fun to do it. You get, I know every time that Tread and other people over the years that have kind of done it, they always talk about this unique, amazing experience. So-and-so, or I got to, this family came through and I had such a great conversation with them today.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're looking for that kind side of it, reach out to the museum. They're always looking for volunteers and folks to help out with that. That way, guys like Robert here can take a day off every once in a while from docenting.
But realistically, you're very correct. I'll come home and I'll tell my wife, I said, I was there. Some days, to be honest with you, it's like 4 or 5 people come in and it's really kind of quiet. But most of the time, there'll be that one person or a group of people that'll come in and you'll talk to them. And, after you get through talking maybe 5 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, maybe whatever, you say, man, that was worth the trip out to the base just to be there.
Sure.
To hear these folks and just to converse with them. And they've got some interesting history or they'll tell you about some other stuff. And, we get pilots in from all over the place, or we had some guys came in from Switzerland that were here to watch the solar eclipse. But they had worked with some other really pretty secret stuff and everything. And it's kind of like old history stuff, but it just talking to those guys, and I got their pictures and we took each other's pictures and did stuff. But it just felt like you kind of want to keep in touch after they leave.
Sure.
So it's just a real positive thing.
Sure. And imagine for guys like you who are retired military, it's fun to, especially when you get some other retirees or people, and, there's always, when veterans get together, there's always shared experiences, even though they may have never met. There's always shared experiences.
These pilots come in that just delivered a plane one came in from New Zealand to do this or do that, or a guy from Mexico, and just, it's just kind of fun talking to them. And they flew in like a DC-10 or something, whatever, some of the older airplanes, but just brought it in, have it repainted or whatever. But they just have a lot of history. And do run into a lot of folks that had interesting military background. So.
Yeah, it's really you want to see, because it's an airport, so you kind of have a constantly evolving and changing clientele that's in there. It's kind of neat to experience that. And I never even thought about that because of all the work on aircraft that's done out there. You get not just civilians traveling, on American Eagle out there, but like you said, they're coming to bring in planes for their companies to get worked on at one of the businesses out there or stuff. And they come from all over the world. And again, some of them pop into the museum and share their stories and check it out. And then you get that cool, unique experience there too. So I didn't think about that side too, but you're right. That's another cool part.
Travelers that are just like traveling around the country, and like these guys are here to watch the solar eclipse. They're heading up to some other museums and stuff, just kind of while they're here.
Do you ever get like when Red Bull and all them were out at the base doing their stuff a couple years ago? Did those guys all pop into the museum and for a checkout? And
Probably like that. Yeah. That would be
Baumgartner and all those.
Baumgartner.
Guys. Yeah. See, that's the cool part. And trust me, the museum is really. If you haven't been, go make a trip out there. Come. It works around the flying schedule, so odds are pretty good if you go during the week around 11 o'clock or so. The museum will be open there. You can come have lunch, have a burrito before or after, and then come check out the museum. Bring the family down.
Yeah, we'll give you a business card and our little sheet. Yeah. Take back and.
Yeah, the business card here. That all the stuff that Rob was talking about earlier on the website. That it kind of gives you like a one sheet of. Some of the things you can look up and research about through the web. And, of course, contacts for everybody if you want to pursue it farther than a cursory read on the website there. If you want to, say, for instance, get more involved with the simulator and get some time on that and get checked out on it. And, and to be honest, this is a simulator. It actually counts towards flight times. If you're pursuing for a pilot's license, that simulator does count towards your flying hours and all that kind of stuff for your trainings and all of that. It's that
set up
good.
for a Cessna right now, but as we tell the folks, it can fly. You can fly 50 different aircraft, and all the cockpits are like those particular aircraft.
Sure.
And land at any airport in the world. So I said, you can come in here and pick out a fighter aircraft. I think it's the F-22, and land at Istanbul, Turkey at 9 o'clock at night in the rain.
There you go.
They go, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's probably the only way you're going to do that ever in real life. So, short of joining the military and
yeah.
But yeah. By the way, that's I imagine for some pilots, because I'm just curious. I'm guessing like if you get some of the heavy commercial pilots that want to come in and they're going to want to play around on an F-22 or something they don't normally fly.
Yeah, right.
And then I'm thinking like the rocket, the jocks, they're going to be like, let's fly a B-52 or a 747 or something that's big and hulking, But that's just what I imagine. But I have no idea. But that's really that's the cool part about what we're talking about with Walker Aviation Museum. Yes. There's the history side and the nostalgia and remembering the important things that happened here. That's very much a fabric of it. But it is fostering youth, getting kids in here to get excited about careers in STEM and careers in the aviation industry, getting to see the cool stuff. I don't care what anybody says. When you're seeing the planes firing up doing their thing, and I don't care if you're 8 or 800, that's cool.
Yeah. And it's kind of my background. I was, in the Air Force 30 years and spent 27 of that basically teaching air crew not to kill themselves. So it was kind of human performance, human factor stuff. And I spent 11 years managing the life support system for the SR-71 and U-2 spy planes. So it's kind of fun. Every once in a while you get some people in and just you can convert and talk about, my neighbor used to be an SR pilot, and we talk, we were just good friends, and kind of a unique aircraft. And
it's funny, you can tell an SR pilot because when you meet them, their cheeks are pulled way back.
That's right. They got
a lot of lines in their forehead.
They got suntans on their face because the windshield was about 600 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's right.
But they were inside our pressure suits. So
they are. They wear suits. I was kidding.
Oh, I know. And I tell them, stay around in Roswell. We got all kinds of people. Even we got a radio guy down here that was a weapons loader and stealth fighters. And
yeah, you trip all over kind of people around here.
That's right.
But come see it. Come for a visit. Come bring your family down. Now that they're starting to, did I hear they're adding a flight and everything? Is it starting to get a little bit busier down there at the airport with the flying schedule and everything?
I think it's still, I have to look at it. They just sent me the May.
Okay.
But it might be toward the end of May. I just noticed for today and this week it was not the same. But
okay. Because I thought I'd heard somewhere that they were going to be expanding or adding.
I hope so.
They were, I thought I heard that kind of thing was going on out there as we're getting
By the way, a little history. Colonel Butch Blanchard, he was the wing commander at Roswell Army Airfield in July 47 when the first report of the flying disc or saucer was found in Roswell.
Stuff.
But he was the operations officer at Tinian when the atomic missions took place. So he and Curtis LeMay felt strongly that the crews on Tinian were capable of carrying out the atomic mission because they said, we got all this experience. And you got these guys coming in from Wendover Field that have been training specifically for this. And they go, we think our guys are more experienced. We can do it. And they didn't realize the B-29s they had were called silver plate B-29s. They had all their guns and ammunition, I think except for the tail gun, removed, saving about 7,000 pounds. And they could get up and fly easily above 30,000. And once they were above 30,000 feet, they could outmaneuver American fighter P-47.
Wow.
Because of just when they were at high altitude.
Yeah.
So they got up there, and so he wanted to go. So finally, General LeMay told Blanchard to go ahead, and he went on a practice mission with Tibbets, and they got up there above 30. And they had these practice big pumpkin bombs that were shaped like atomic bomb was going to be. So anyway, they would get up there and drop the bomb and then suddenly go into a real hard turn and dive 2,000 feet to gain speed and try to get maximum distance away from the blast. So,
so they'll get caught up in the mushroom cloud.
Yeah. So they could get about 9 miles before the bomb went off. And the bomb didn't go all the way to the ground. It went down to about 1,860 feet above the ground.
Before it went boom.
Yeah, but they'd be 9 miles away. And the funny thing, when they were talking about, we think that'll be far enough. Because they had never done it before.
What?
And, like some of the bombs they dropped were more, powerful than they thought they were going to be.
Sure.
So it was kind of like when the crews dropped the bombs, like, okay, this is the first time.
Like, are we going to...
I hope we don't get incinerated.
I'm about to say, I'm sure when they landed, every one of them looking at the tail of the back end of that thing is like, hey, we still got a tail.
Yeah. But,
and that's something we don't think much. I mean, I don't think most people don't think about that side. We dropped the bomb and, it happened, but for something, when it's never been done before and sure, we can science it and we can anticipate what we think it's going to do, but till it actually does it, it's a calculated guess, just like anything else. And you're just praying and hoping that I hope those guys got it right. Because if they didn't, we're the ones who are gonna reap the results of that. And that's why test pilots and that's a different breed of people.
By the way, if you, like I mentioned before when I was on this program, there's a couple of interesting books. I read The Countdown to 1945 by Chris Wallace, and it was written in 2020. And then the Enola Gay is another book. It was written in 1977. But those books go into the details of how really difficult it was to make a decision to drop the atomic bombs and, end up killing a lot of civilians and stuff, because at that time they were anticipating, after Okinawa, 82 days of fighting and all the casualties they took trying to take the island of Okinawa. They thought, boy, to try to take, Japan itself, and how they were training all their civilians to fight to the death, and they just thought it was going to be so terrible.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of soul searching before they made the decision to go ahead and drop those bombs. But so we were, just wanting to drop it for the heck of it.
Sure.
It was a lot of thought went into those.
I would imagine Truman and the people in the highest of echelons in there. I'm sure I would love to see or read a book or see a movie that kind of explains maybe the mindset of that whole.
Yeah.
Of course, do we know? I mean, we can speculate, but unless you're in the room, how do you know?
Another really good book is the World War II 100. It's ranking the most influential figures of the Second World War by Howard Langer. And that was, there's about 2.5 to 3 pages per person, and so it starts out, the most influential figures. And I think number one of those 100 is Hitler, and then there's Churchill and stuff. But then you run into a lot of folks doing a lot of really interesting things in World War II that you never heard of.
Sure.
So that's kind of what the fun part.
Get to hear is. Their, well, and that's why I love like the Band of Brothers and those types, because that's what they do is they spotlight some of the heroes of World War II that don't necessarily have monuments to them in places.
Also, another misconception. A lot of people think the Boxcar and Enola Gay, all those planes that dropped the atomic bombs came from Roswell and then returned to Roswell. That's not true.
No.
They came out of Wendover, Utah, and went to Tinian, and then
they've been to
throughout World
Roswell.
War II. Roswell was a training base for training advanced.
But they weren't
pilots.
ever assigned to Roswell.
No.
They visited. They've popped down. They've landed
after
here.
the war was over. Then we quit being a training base, and then those bombers came back here.
Yeah, I remember there was at one of it was one of our events around town, and they had a silent auction, and someone had a picture of the Enola Gay at Roswell Army Airfield, I guess when it was there after the war tore in, and I lost the bidding, unfortunately, but I was wanting that picture of the Enola Gay sitting there. I was like, I had a spot picked out and everything, but I lost. Someone else outbid me. But they had advantage. I was hosting the event, so I didn't get a chance to keep going back and fill it out, but yeah, I remember. So they've been to the base, but they weren't ever assigned there. They've come either on world tours or came to get for training or some reason, but they were never actually officially part of the inventory of any of any of the squadrons here at Roswell or Walker Air Force Base.
Yeah.
So.
I just should mention this quickly. In previous years, in the last 12 months or so, the following people have been great supporters of the museum as Pioneer Bank, Featherstone Development Corporation, Glenn's Furniture, 6th Bomb Wing Reunion Group gave us a bunch of money, David Petroleum, Gerald Murray before he left, Xi Kappa Chapter of Beta Psi Phi, whatever that is. I mean, I'm sorry.
The fraternity.
Yeah, fraternity there.
Yeah.
Previous years, we had Roswell Toyota, XL Energy, and several of the doctors around town and other individuals. So we really appreciate that.
If there's any other businesses or entities that want to support, please, again, go to the museum or go to the museum's website or reach out to Robert directly. And if you want to support any way, shape, or form, we greatly appreciate it. But like I said earlier, if you go to the museum's website, wafbmuseum.org, you'll see a Donate Now button right there in the front and center on the page there. Click that, and you can donate that way. But also, all the things that Robert was talking about, the different things to look up for careers in STEM, stuff for youth, different links to various other, like even if you're just
everybody out there with a smartphone can access that, and
absolutely
hours and hours and hours of information for you.
Even if you're just a history buff and love watching the videos and all that, there's a whole bunch of links to that.
Or if you're out there working and you're not too happy with your job,
there you go.
You got 1,016 jobs you could. Oh, by the way, when you go to that website and you go to some of the examples of the careers, you come across the thing that determining your career, and it takes you to a different thing, and you go through a bunch of stuff, and it'll give you 3 tests that total up to 60 questions, and you put on there, yeah, that sounds interesting, or no, I'd hate to do that, and there's just a bunch of different weird things, and then once that's all finished, it says, based on your answers, this might be some careers you may want to pursue.
Kind of an aptitude. Looks like you got an aptitude for these.
So it gives you a chance to do your own aptitude testing and see, well, maybe am I?
Absolutely, yes. Find your niche. Based on your interests. What careers would you probably gravitate towards, and based on what you've answered here, and just come check it out. And then of course, don't hesitate. Come, like you said, come during the week around lunchtime here. Mm-hmm. The museum's open. You can come and see it, talk to the docent, but obviously come and see the cool stuff there. Some of the cool memorabilia and things that are on display there. And then, of course, if you want to ask more about some of the other opportunities with the simulator and all that, then they're right there too. And I would even say come hungry and grab a burrito while you're down there and have lunch. And they got pretty good food and everything down there too. So while you're down at that end, make an afternoon of it and come see everything.
By the way, that story I told you about Butch Blanchard taking a flight when they did a practice dropping that bomb. After he got through, he got off the airplane and said, you guys can take this. I don't think my guys are really up for this.
Right.
And their planes weren't modified to fly as high and be as maneuverable as and to get the heck out of there before the bomb.
Yeah, I imagine it's not a fun trip. I imagine it's nothing comfortable about that trip. And, I imagine riding in a B-29 is probably a little nicer than a B-17, but it ain't that nice.
Well, it is pressurized. So
that's a big difference.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, you don't have to wear the flak jackets and worry about touching something inside the plane and you freeze to it or nothing like that. But at the same time, spending copious amount of hours in a tube, By
the way, Bob Donnell, myself, Allie Bishop goes out on Thursdays, and Stephen Miller goes out on Wednesday. So we've got 4 people now volunteering.
Excellent.
And they all give the same feedback. They meet occasionally really interesting people, and they just think it's a real positive.
Everyone I've talked to that does the docent thing, every one of them love it. They love talking. They love they usually have more fun than I think the people that they're serving sometimes.
Yes, they do. They do.
Good deal. WAFBmuseum.org is the website. If you want any more information about anything, if you want to serve as a docent or on the board, they're always looking for volunteers. Don't forget that Donate Now button is a great way to support and help out the museum and all the missions that it supports.
And you get on that website and you go down until you find 3 photos, color photos of us working with the kids with the simulators. And right above that is a block that says STEM jobs, and you click on that and it'll take you to that ONET online, but it'll show you 331 STEM jobs alphabetically.
Nice. So bound to find one that's right in your real house.
Also, on our website under education, we've gone and listed 840 STEM-type jobs in the Roswell region based off of 3 phone books.
Nice. So quite a bit of information.
Yep.
There, so. Well, thank you, Robert, as always. We'll see you next time, and appreciate all the work you've done with us on finagling and all of that.
That's fine.
Big appreciation there. All right, it is 7:58. Quick break before news. Don't go away.
Senator Greg Nybert is the only candidate in the race for State Senate District 27 with a strong conservative record on border security and stopping illegal immigration. Greg Nybert has voted against free college for illegals. He's voted against professional licensing for illegals. He has stood strong against Michelle Lujan Grisham, turning New Mexico into a sanctuary state for drugs, crime, and criminals. He has fought to end catch and release for violent criminals and will continue to do so. New Mexico is at the center of a border crisis because our laws make us a haven for illegal immigrants, drug trafficking, and cartel activity. MLG's liberal agenda has unleashed terrible harm on our state. That's why a vote for Greg Nybert is a vote to take back our border security. Greg will keep fighting against the march of the radical left that threatens to harm our way of life. Vote for Greg Nybert, a proving conservative voice for State Senate.
Paid for by Greg Nybert for State Senate.
Are you or a loved one having a hard time getting to your medical appointments? At Artesia General Hospital, we believe that transportation should never be a barrier to good health. That's why we're excited to announce our new non-emergency medical transportation services. Each of our vans is wheelchair accessible, and our friendly certified drivers go the extra mile by meeting you at your doorstep and ensuring a comfortable ride to your Artesia General Hospital services. Rides are available Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Schedule your ride today by visiting artesiageneral.com/transportation or calling 575-736-8211.
The great one, Mark Levin, is now in Roswell on 106.5 KEND Roswell.
And we're closing in on 8 o'clock. Town Hall News coming up here in just a few seconds. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Former President Trump has been fined another $1,000 for violating a judge's gag order at his New York criminal trial. The judge once again threatening Mr. Trump with jail time.
The order bars him from making out-of-court public comments on witnesses, jurors, and some others. The judge found that the former president, who is the Republican frontrunner for the office again, repeatedly violated the order, and he fined Trump $9,000. The judge also warned that jail could follow if he keeps it up. The order does not stop Trump from talking about the allegations against him or commenting on the judge or the elected top prosecutor in this case, and it doesn't stop him from testifying in court if he chooses. Julie Walker, New York.
It appears Israel is preparing for a long-anticipated ground invasion of Rafah, the Israeli military ordering Palestinians to evacuate eastern reaches of the southern Gaza City. The BBC's Julian Bedford says that on Sunday, a Hamas missile attack several Palestinians.
The prospect for a ceasefire in Gaza had dwindled before Hamas fired 10 missiles towards the Kerem Shalom crossing. But the deadly attack has resulted in an increase in violence. Israel has again accused the Islamists of using the civilian population of Rafah as human shields, and their response, both on the site from where the missiles were launched and later strikes on Rafah, has seen several civilian deaths.
New York's Columbia University canceling large university-wide commencement ceremonies amid the ongoing anti-Israel protests. Columbia plans smaller school-based ceremonies this week and next. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 110 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free and will even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Molino has declared victory after his closest rival conceded. Molino was placed on the ballot after the initial candidate, former President Riccardo Martinelli, was convicted of money laundering.
Mr. Molino, who is now eased to victory on a promise of returning the country to the economic prosperity it enjoyed under Mr. Martinelli, who's promised to help Mr. Martinelli with his legal issues in Panama concerning transparency and anti-corruption groups in Central America. During the campaign, he also said he intends to crack down on undocumented immigration in Panama, specifically the many thousands of migrants who traverse the jungles of the Darien Gap each year on their treacherous journey to the United States.
That's the BBC's Will Grant. French President Macron has welcomed China's Xi Jinping on a two-day state visit to France. He's looking to press Xi to use his influence on Moscow to move toward ending the war in Ukraine. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Qantas Airways will shell out roughly $79 million after selling tickets for thousands of canceled flights.
The airline and the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission announced the settlement on Monday to end the watchdog's federal lawsuit. Qantas had engaged in false, misleading, or deceptive conduct by advertising tickets for more than 8,000 flights from May of 2021 to July of 2022 that were canceled but not removed from sale. Qantas agreed to settle the suit by paying a $66 million fine to the Australian government and a projected $13 million to more than 86,000 affected customers. Rhonda Rockstra reports.
A federal lawsuit challenging North Carolina's voter ID law is going on trial. The trial gets underway today. Begins more than 5 years after the NAACP sued over the voter ID law enacted by the Republican-led General Assembly in North Carolina. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce
of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday.
Yes, welcome to it.
I learned something last night.
I learned something. Okay.
I learned something that was on late last night, but it was already started. And now I'm curious whether I'm going to be able to watch it later on.
Okay.
Netflix had a live broadcast
Did they?
night.
Okay.
The roast of Tom Brady.
I heard about that.
And I saw a lot of comments on it, and it sounds pretty good.
But I wonder if what they're going to cut from the, like if it's not live, they're going to cut, in the replay.
Yeah, but that's what I'm wondering. Like, can you just see it and it's 3 hours later on demand?
Yeah, that's sort of how it works on Peacock. Like, okay, for example, this weekend there was a premium live event, Backlash, but it took place in France, so it was at a weird time. Yeah, it was in France. So it was a very weird time. It was like 10 a.m. So a lot of people just kind of waited and then watched the rebroadcast later. Avoided spoilers as much as possible and just watched the rebroadcast.
Well, I'm hoping. I'm going to check today. I just had a chance, but because I kind of like those. And it's very much a la the Comedy Central stuff. Jeff Ross was there doing his thing. And apparently, like, there was something happened, and Jeff Ross said something, and Tom Brady apparently didn't like it. I don't know.
Really?
So
okay. I wonder
I'm intrigued.
I'm gonna have to hit up the internet and see if there's anything that got cut from the live version that.
And so I'm wondering if I can go watch it now or something.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm gonna go check, but
yeah, it would behoove them if they're gonna have live content to have the live content and then put it into a category so that people can watch it later.
I just wish I knew about it before like 8 o'clock last night because it came on at like 6 last night.
And that's the model of Netflix, I think, is the moving forward is that they're going to give you the option to watch it live or at your own pace.
Well, to my knowledge, my understanding is the Tyson Jake Paul fight is a Netflix thing.
Yeah.
And I've already planned a watch party in July when this goes down. And I'm just saying, I am 51 years old. I grew up watching Tyson fights in their prime.
Yeah.
I'm smart enough to know, get you celebrating and get all your gaming in before, because the actual fight's probably going to last about 2 minutes.
Yeah. No, totally. There's an undercard, I'm sure.
It was kind of like the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. You were out, and so I watched some of that.
I was out gallivanting, but
I don't care about horse racing, but I do like watching the Kentucky Derby.
I will say
stuff.
It's
entertaining to me.
The only thing that interested me about the Kentucky Derby was I really wished I would have gotten the ingredients to learn how to make a mint julep.
Yeah,
because I feel like that would have been the appropriate time.
This is the weekend to be doing the juleps.
Yeah.
Yes,
I didn't get it's like with my kid. It actually came with a julep strainer.
Oh,
yeah,
very good.
Which is fancy. You got to put it through the knuckle, and then you got to put it in the mixer.
That's for muddling the mint or whatever.
No, it's actually for straining out the liquid into the final beverage.
I gotcha.
You muddle the mint beforehand in the glass. And then
I'm not an expert at cocktailing.
pour the drink.
Any way, shape, or form. Not even drinking them, to be honest. I usually like.
It's all about the fence. It's the flair.
Yeah. Well, and a mint julep is the most bougie drink of all the drinks. You can't even drink one without the big hat. I don't think.
Pinky up. And that's how I pictured you watching the Derby. You're like, honey, get my hat.
Where's my hat?
Chink. Catches it on your head.
But I kind of dig some of the backstories on some of these families and the horses.
Honestly, my favorite part about any of these has always been the names.
Yeah.
Racehorse names are the greatest thing known to man. Because it's always like Papa's mustache.
Yeah. Well, they have to because they got to be unique.
Papa's mustache.
The names have to be unique, and they can't, and let's face it, how many hundreds of thousands of horses there are, and they gotta have unique names.
But it's always great to at the end of the race, at the end of the 2 or 3 minutes of the race that they have, you just hear some man probably in his mid-30s who's probably paid way more than he should be going, Papa's mustache in the third for the win. Like, I mean, it's some guy losing his mind. Like, Mind That Bird. If you think about it, the legend of Mind That Bird from Roswell, which is kind of, if anybody's watched Parks and Recreation, Mind That Bird is sort of our little Sebastian. But Mind That Bird is a very silly name for anything, except for a racehorse. A lot of them
have silly names,
right?
But it's that way just because the name. It was actually there was. By the way, the race was uber close.
Was it
like first, second, and third were separated by 2 noses?
Oh, snap.
Like the horse that won by a nose, and then the horse that was in third place lost by a nose to the horse in second place.
And now, if I'm correct, it's the Kentucky Derby. The Preakness is next, right?
Yes, the Preakness will be in a couple of weeks.
And then the Triple Crown, or
well, it's all the Triple Crown.
Right.
Belmont Stakes.
The Belmont Stakes. That's the one I couldn't remember.
Is the third leg of the
Who
Triple
won the
Crown.
Derby 2024? Okay. The winner was Mystic Dan.
Yeah, Mystic Dan won.
Mystic Dan, jockeyed by B. Hernandez
and then
Jr.
Sierra Leone was the number 2 horse.
And Forever Young pulled it.
And that's
third
the
place.
horse from Japan.
And that's by a nose also.
Forever Young was the horse from Japan.
Okay.
That horse flew in from Japan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See that? I just know how horses don't like transport to begin with.
Yeah.
And like it's the idea of like being. I can't imagine a horse in flight. I mean, do they get peanuts?
I'm sure it's a special plane that they have to put him in. They just can't roll him up in I'm sure it's some kind of special cargo.
They put him in business class.
Yeah.
You just see a horse with crossed legs sitting there.
Horses do like warm nuts. Just saying.
They really do.
But Mind That Bird would be sitting there with the peppermints. That was Mind That Bird's jam. But
oh yeah, like the Peppos.
Oh yeah, well I was fortunate enough to be one of the people that got to meet the horse and all that a couple of years ago and go out to the ranch and all that. And yeah, if you ever met Mind That Bird, one of the inside things is, and from my understanding, like the Sonic ones, the ones you get from Sonic, those little peppermints, that's like his fave.
Oh, really? The ones that are like kind of the crunchy ones?
Yeah, those ones from Sonic you get.
Let's see. I'm trying to find some more of the names of the horses. Okay. Catching Freedom.
Yeah.
T.O. Password. Stronghold. Honor Marie. Ooh. Endlessly. Door Knock, spelled D-O-R-N-O-C-H. Yeah. West Saratoga. Domestic Product.
Yep.
Fierceness. You got to kind of say that with a lisp. Grand Mo the First, Catalytic, and Just a Touch.
Yeah.
Society Man. Ooh. Epic Ride.
Well, what's the one that's Steel?
Just Steel.
Just Steel. There's some New Mexico connections in that.
Oh, really?
That one.
Okay.
Matter of fact, that was the one Kim and I were pulling for. He's the owner was one of the legacy owners, but the family, the son's the jockey. The son's 5'10".
Oh wow, 5'10"?
Right.
In the land of the jockeys, that man's a giant.
And that's why I was pulling for, because they're showing all the jockeys.
Let's go Top Shelf.
And they're all, 5'4", whatever they are. And then this guy rolls in, and he looks like Andre the Giant compared to the rest.
Right. You're like, where is he? Oh, there he is.
Yeah. So that was the guy. That was the one I was. Kim and I were pulling for.
That's impressive.
And was Just Steel. Just Steel made a run and was in the and then halfway through the race got burnt and got blown to the back of the pack. But for a hot minute, Just Steel was like in the top 3 or 4 there, and then got blown away. Because Kim's like going, I was like, it's only early in the race. This part of the race don't matter.
I respect that because for maybe just a second, Mike thought, this radio thing doesn't work out. I could jockey. I could be a jockey. Now that does seem like a dream life. I mean, honestly, your whole gig is I'm going to go ride a fast horse once a week and be a celebrity for it.
The regime to do that is insane.
Well, sure.
Those guys, those guys are incredible shit.
Dude, I was just thinking though, I would watch an entire hour-long Discovery Channel series that every week explored the origin story of a horse, a name, like the name of a horse for in the races in the Kentucky Derby.
I'm sure, and it's all usually there's some kind of relation, something happened or something the horse did or something or some family thing. But I'm telling you right now, I don't think I'd mess with a jockey. Like this part of a jockey, their shoulders and arms.
No, they're built for sure.
They are,
because you gotta you have to it's all core.
Yeah, those guys would kick your butt.
In my head, I'm like, I just hear Ken Burns, like a Ken Burns documentary style, this week.
Well, we all saw Seabiscuit.
This week, we explore the tragic backstory of Hairlip Steve.
No, Seabiscuit has all given us a set image on how that should be and go and sound, and it's exactly just like that. So, but anyway, I did watch. It was fun. I don't know anything about horse racing other than and so now I'm an expert for an hour because you watch the 7 hours of Kentucky Derby coverage leading up to the 2 minutes of the race, and by the time a race happens, you're like an expert on everything.
Right.
All of a sudden, you're Mr. Churchill Downs. All of a sudden,
you got through it. I will say this: I started watching The Contestant. It was a documentary that Mike recommended to me. Now I had to bow out about 5 minutes in.
Oh boy, that bad, huh?
It's not bad. It's a very actually I made it like 8 or 9 minutes. It's a very interesting story. But it's all subtitles.
Oh,
so it's all in Japanese. So it's a lot of reading, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this right now.
I get you.
I just want to turn my brain off.
And I'm one of those people that I listen as much as I watch. Sometimes
I proceeded to find a movie that I haven't finished yet, but from what I've watched so far, I highly recommend.
Yeah.
It is called "Please Don't Destroy: The Legend."
Please don't destroy colon. That's a good tip.
No, that's a colon as in punctuation. Please don't Please don't destroy the treasure of Foggy Mountain.
Okay, I've not heard of that.
I believe I found it on Amazon.
All right.
Please Don't Destroy is, I think, the group from SNL.
Okay.
They're like the new Lonely Island Boys, essentially.
Okay.
The movie stars them, and there's a few other notable faces. Most notable, as the father of one of the kids, is Conan O'Brien.
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
And
I've seen the trailer for this.
It is highly entertaining.
I think now that you say that, I do kind of think I remember seeing a commercial for that. Yeah, okay.
There's a whole scene where this like they run a sporting goods store, and part of the thing is they have a wingsuit like set up in their sporting goods store. And so this kid's like, I can do this, and he straps on this wingsuit, and all of a sudden there's a massive updraft, and he just gets swept up, and they're just like flying him like a kite. Next thing you know, he flies off the ledge, and they're just holding on to him. They're like, we can do this, and they just
nice.
It is highly entertaining.
Well, the next thing on my list is the Netflix movie Unfrosted.
Oh, okay. I saw the trailer for that.
I've seen the trailer. I want to watch it.
I saw some of the reviews for it, and they're like, it's a rough watch from what I heard.
But I still want to see it.
I'm intrigued.
I mean, it's Seinfeld, which Seinfeld hasn't done anything in a long time.
That's
so
true.
The fact that it's Seinfeld, I'm intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that Seinfeld's involved with it, I'm going to give it I'm going to give it a look.
And I would say I would be fascinated by the story, but I literally just watched the story the other day on a weird history food video on YouTube.
Pop-Tart?
The history of Pop-Tarts, and how like they were created based on a rival company, like Ralston Purina, the rival company, released breakfast squares or something like that, which was a toast or pastry. And
that was Post cereal.
That was Post, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Pop-Tarts is Kellogg's.
Yeah, it was Kellogg's.
Yeah.
Kellogg's hired a man named Bill Post. I'm not sure totally if it's the same connection with Post family, but hired a man named Bill Post who came in and created the Pop-Tart as we know it today with the four original flavors, all unfrosted.
Yeah.
That's where the story
But this thing's literally got 17,000 stars. Melissa McCarthy's in it. Peter Dinklage I saw was in it.
Yeah.
Who else? I was literally every scene. I'm like, oh my goodness, another one. There's another one. There's another one. It's literally like who's who.
I love when they put Peter Dinklage in a role and it makes you think you're like it's like a historical role. You're like, I didn't know such and such was a little person. I didn't know P.T. Barnum was 2'3".
Yeah.
You really run a risk when you put a little person in a normal role of a historical movie.
Yeah, there is a slight. Well, we could go on to that joke.
Yeah.
There's a whole trope of those online there, but the Napoleon and Snow White and several others. You could go with
that'd be
that
funny.
Yeah.
Peter Dinklage is Napoleon.
Actually, I'd still need the one to watch the Joaquin Phoenix one. It's on Apple Plus. The Ridley Scott movie. I want to see it. I will see it. I gotta set my mind up for sitting 3 hours of a war movie, and I'm not ready for that.
I know. We guess we have to go. I understand. I cannot legitimately watch Joaquin Phoenix in any movie without just seeing a dude with a hair lip. I can't not see that as a character trait. Like, again, with the whole little person, like, I didn't know Johnny Cash had a hair lip. I can't not see it. And they've done a lot of really good work, and he's a great actor. I'm not trying to take anything away from him as a performer, but I just can't not look at it.
It's the Austin Powers mole.
It's the mole. I was just going to say, it's lip.
He has a hair lip.
I just started watching Shameless.
What's that?
And so I'm kind of getting familiarized with the characters of Lip and all of them.
Wait, what's a hair lip?
Hair lip is okay. Have you've seen Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you know how he's got that like split right there in his lip, and he's got the scar.
Yeah, it's a medical condition.
Yeah, he was born with basically it's called a cleft palate. Is the technical term. A cleft palate or a hair lip is another word for it.
And depends on how bad it is. Sometimes as a kid you have to get corrected by surgery, or some just live with it. So.
I've just always loved the
I've never noticed it.
Moniker Hair Lip Steve. Oh, did you mean Hair Lip Steve?
It sounds worse than it is, actually. Like you hear him say it just sounds bad now.
What was the movie you said we're talking about with the subtitles?
Oh, it's called The Contestant.
Yeah, it's a Japanese reality show documentary.
It's a documentary based on there's a show that they lock this guy essentially in a room, and he
goes crazy.
Slowly but surely loses his mind completely.
Put it this way, it'd be like putting a prisoner in solitary confinement and just turning a camera on and letting him loose, watching and see what happens. Watch the depravity just unfold. And that's in essence a Japanese game show that the documentary is based on. But apparently it's all in Japanese.
Yeah.
But I saw a trailer for it over the last week, and I was like, this is nuts, and I showed it to Sean.
Yeah, when I have some more time to actually pay attention, I definitely want to sit down and watch it.
Yeah, so we are going to play our interview we had with Barbara Gomez from Main Street Roswell. She joined us on Friday to give us an update what's happening there. So we'll play that in a few minutes here. But first, your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good today, except for the gusty wind at 20 to 40 miles an hour through the day. We will have some sunshine, though. Afternoon high will be in the upper 80s, down to 50 and still pretty windy for the overnight hours under clear skies. We'll hit about 90 for the afternoon high on Tuesday, still breezy but not as windy, and we get a sunny day, sunshine on Wednesday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, did I refresh? I don't believe I did. Let me refresh. Currently 67 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 25%. Winds are calm at the moment. We do have a red flag warning that's going to kick in at 11 this morning, remaining in effect through 8 p.m. this evening. Patchy blowing dust for this afternoon. Sunny and 86 for our high, but west winds 15 to 20, increasing 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour later today. Tonight, clear skies and an overnight low of 50. Winds will be breezy out of the west, 15 to 25. Gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. They'll drop down 5 to 15 after midnight tonight. Tomorrow, we do have a fire weather watch from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. More of today, tomorrow. Patchy blowing dust for the afternoon. Sunny and 92. Breezy southwest winds 5 to 10 early. 15 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour by Tuesday afternoon. Tomorrow night, clear, overnight low of 57, breezy, southwest winds 20 to 25, gusting as high as 40 miles per hour. They'll drop down 10 to 15 after midnight tomorrow night. Wednesday, winds start to calm down, sunny and 88, northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny and 82, and then Friday and the weekend, slight chances of rain, mid-70s and partly cloudy Saturday. Right around 80 with a 20% chance of rain on Saturday, 20% chance of rain on Sunday, mostly sunny 82. All right, 8:25. We're going to take a 4-minute break, and then we're going to play our interview with Barbara Gomez from Main Street Roswell on the other side. Don't go away.
New Mexico Governor Lujan Grisham has pursued an agenda to seriously impair and remove your Second Amendment rights to use, own, or purchase firearms and firearm-related items in our state. Last legislative session, District 27 Republican Senator Greg Nibert worked effectively and successfully with the NRA and other pro-Second Amendment groups to defeat the governor's attempt to ban or register firearms and accessories. We must retain legislators like Senator Nibert, who has the proven knowledge, skills, and experience to stop the liberal progressives from imposing upon our constitutional rights. Senator Nibert is the only candidate running for Senate District 27 to be rated A and endorsed by the NRA. Please vote to retain Senator Greg Nibert for Senate District 27.
Paid for by Greg Nibert for State Senate.
Today we're going to give you the 5th key to a great marriage, taken from Drs. Les and Leslie Perot. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage. The 5th key is commitment, living the love you promised.
Galatians 6:9 says, "And let us not get tired of doing what is right, for after a while we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't get discouraged and give up." You know, one of the keys to commitment is just deciding in your heart, I'm never giving up on God, I'm never giving up on my marriage, I'm never giving up on my family.
Commitment is a promise made and kept by two imperfect people. It's good for our kids to see that problems happen and we're committed to solving them together.
If you want all 5 keys to a great marriage, you can go to our website at jomconference.com.
Mayday! Attention Roswell and surrounding areas. Trade in and trade up to a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle for thousands less during May Trade Days at the all-new Roswell Ford. The all-new Roswell Ford has new management and a whole new attitude. And this week, any trade goes. Stuck in your loan or lease? Roswell Ford wants to get you released, even if you owe thousands more than your trade is worth, regardless of make or miles. Get huge savings on new Fords with rates as low as 0% for 66 months with no payments till July 4th. Plus, we have a great selection of low mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles, all in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Don't settle for a low-quality, overpriced clunker. Buy a quality pre-owned vehicle from Roswell Ford for a lot less. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. We've partnered with the most aggressive lenders that will push to approve you today, even with bad or no credit. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. $15,15 per thousand financed on select models with approved credit.
Hi, this is Melanie from Glenn's Furniture, and I want to tell you about our store-wide sale happening now. All items in every department are on sale. Upgrade your living space with power reclining sofas and love seats or beautiful sectionals with charging ports. Create ambience with amazing table and floor lamps. Get that long-awaited restful night's sleep with a new Serta mattress. Every department is on sale from our existing prices, so come down to Glenn's Furniture on the corner of Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
Wakefield Oil Company is a name you can rely on with full service at the pump the way it used to be. You can expect service in just 15 seconds. They offer bulk fuel and oil services and even diesel exhaust fluid. Wakefield Oil Company will deliver to farms, ranches, dairies, the oil fields, and more with dependable service you can count on. So the next time you need service or delivery, go with the name that locals have trusted since 1983. Wakefield Oil Company, 311 South Virginia in Roswell. Let them earn your business.
The octopus and the squid both have 3 hearts. That's why they eat so many Tums. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 26 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from, well, technically upstairs.
Yeah, all the way from upstairs.
All the way from the 4th floor here. Barbara Gomez back with us, Director of Main Street Roswell here. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Mike. I just can't believe it's already Friday. I have so much work to do. I was hoping when I got up this morning that it was probably Thursday, at least. But it isn't. It isn't. But it's a great day, and the weather is getting a little chilly today, a little bit.
But it's you know, the weather's getting nicer, so we're getting closer to thinking like spring and summer stuff.
Yes.
And so, which, to be honest, this is kind of the season when Main Street Roswell gets really busy. You know, I mean, it's going all year long, but when the weather gets nice, people want to come outside, people want to do things.
We start revving
obviously,
up a little
we got
bit.
a few events coming up here in the coming months that probably eat up a good majority of your time getting ready for it here. Of course, you know, we're just a couple months away from UFO Festival and everything.
We are.
And for folks that aren't aware, Main Street Roswell is kind of the wrangler of this year's, because it's
one
multiple
of the wranglers,
entities. Yeah. We, you know, the museum, the city, everyone's got their own entities as part of the UFO Festival.
The collective
the
UFO.
Galacticon and everything. Main Street Roswell's kind of the glue in between all this, making sure everything's copacetic. So, but basically, if someone comes to town and wants to learn what's going on with UFO Festival, Main Street Roswell's like, don't forget about this, and this, and we're kind of go check out the museum, and then go over to the city's thing, and go check out the papers thing, and go to Galacticon, and then go, you know, you're the one that's kind of telling everybody to hit it all.
We're working on it. Myself, Juliana Halverson, people that are part of the group here. She's a city councilor, but she has been part of Main Street for many years, but then When she became a counselor, she stepped down.
Hat changed a little bit.
but that doesn't mean that she doesn't work with us and help us with our Facebook and our web pages.
And when she's
and
not
our graphics,
a city counselor, she's kind of the unofficial historian
of
for Roswell. I mean,
it takes a lot of pictures.
So many of our city and community events and county, Veterans Day, everything that tentpole events here.
I ask her, are you ever home? Because I see you on Facebook everywhere.
Yeah,
she's everywhere.
She's there recording it.
She's got a lot of
either
energy,
with drones
that's for
or
sure.
photos or however her different forms of media she does. She does it all with it.
Yeah,
it's really good.
So we are really, really busy with the UFO Festival and the Alien Fest, and of course. Just as you were saying, this year we have kind of an umbrella of the words UFO Festival is kind of the umbrella over everything.
Yeah.
And under that will be the Alien Fest that'll be happening on Main Street, which, by the way, you guys will encompass 7 blocks of Main Street this year.
Nice.
Whose bright idea was that? But anyway.
I think it was yours, wasn't it?
Dang it, you're right. And we also have the Pioneer Plaza area. That's going to be a kids zone across the street at the courthouse will be kind of like the epicenter, but everything and will be flanked on both ends with stages and a car show. So this is like a ridiculous event.
Yeah,
so if you have time and want to be a volunteer, please give me a call.
Well, absolutely. And of course, looking for volunteers, more organizations to get involved. If you're a nonprofit group and you're saying, hey, a service organization, can we help in any way, shape, or form? Yeah, maybe we can get you with help logistics during the festival, cleaning and doing, or maybe you want to set up booths and tables to support your nonprofits and do all that. If you want to get involved that way, reach out to Main Street and talk about how that's
some of you might need some volunteer hours. This is a good place to do it. And by the way, a big shout out to the Sertoma Club of Roswell. They are our huge sponsor this year, but not only are they a big sponsor along with Excel Energy, but they're also sending some folks over to help us out.
Sending some actual human power there to do some labor.
And of course, we're going to have things going to the convention center with the Galacticon and with the Roswell incident. And of course, the UFO Museum. You can't forget about them. They always have something wonderful going. The miniature museums got all kinds of fun things.
They're kind of the one seed because at the end of the day, the UFO Festival is all happening because of a UFO incident. And where's the official source for that? The UFO Museum. So obviously they're very much a part of it.
They're very much a part of it. So, but we'll be hopefully be coming again a lot more sooner here in June, maybe to speak a lot more about.
We'll get people this month and in June.
So we're going to be talking a lot more about this. But for today, we're talking about May.
Yes.
And what's happening?
It's got to be May.
It's got to be May. So this month, of course, the most important day of the year is Mother's Day. It's coming up on May the 12th. So please do not miss your opportunity to come downtown and shop.
That being said, support Mother's Day, but don't forget a month later Dad either.
Oh, that's right.
If you're going to do Mom upright, don't forget Dad on the other side.
We'll talk about Dad next month. But for those of you guys that have not thought about it, we've got restaurants all over the Main Street district. I mean,
some are doing Mother's Day deal specials and brunches and things like that. Yeah,
I mean, they're doing something great over at the Liberty, so you can do something fancied up like that, or you can go to go get some pasta right downtown or some Mexican food.
And if Mom's a picky shopper, a lot of these businesses offer gift cards or gift certificates. And so if you want to shop, cause Mom loves clothes, I'm sure, but you better let Mom pick the clothes. Just saying, when we buy clothes for Mom, she's like, "Oh, that's nice."
Oh,
and
that's
in the
nice.
closet,
And I'll never see it again. Next time it's a cleaning rag.
So maybe, if you get to one of our downtown clothing, say, "Can you do a gift certificate and let Mom come in and pick out the clothing?"
But I feel something that is always in style for a lot of moms is flowers. And we have 2 flower shops right downtown, so don't miss coming by.
And they got all kinds of great ideas if you're kind of like, I just don't want to give her flower. I want to do something special. I want to do a bouquet or something neat, different.
Yeah.
Both the flower shops downtown love to talk to you about creating special arrangements.
Yeah, Behringer's and the Apple Blossom right here on Main Street. So don't miss those guys. But anyway, we'll start out with that. But just to give you a quick update, what happened this last weekend, it was flower planting day for us.
Hopefully you got a chance. I saw them all run around downtown on Saturday.
Hitting
the planter boxes in their yellow shirts and sprucing up the place a little bit.
So it looked really, really great. But let me tell you, that was one of those quick hurry up and figure something out, like really quick. We normally get sponsored every year. We have been sponsored, but this year our sponsor was not able to sponsor us, and it was one of those last minute things. So we weren't even sure where we were going to get flowers. Peggy and I were like, what shall we do? I said, should we go to, the dollar store and go get some plastic flowers? What are we going to do here? Because, we have 30 planters down Main Street. And for those of you that don't know, those were purchased by Main Street Roswell, and it is the Main Street project. And so we fill them up every spring
it's
around
a spring tradition in the Main Street corridor to do this. Yeah.
But thankfully and very thankful to some of the businesses in town, they always step up and help us. Roswell Seed has always been where we go to get the best flowers in town. And they stepped up this year and provided us with some beautiful flowers. And I would tell you what kind they are, but I always get it wrong. Geraniums. Geraniums. I didn't know that geraniums came in so many colors.
Yeah. That was kind of, and actually,
pink,
there's a fun,
the red. They just.
There's a fun few Jim Gill commercials over the years where they talk about the pinks, and then his wife's like, "It's not pink, it's alabaster or whatever it is."
Yes,
it's pretty
that's
funny.
Right. That's right. She says that's not that color.
Yeah.
But they provided us with the main flowers that were to go in there. But we did reach out to Walmart, and they stepped up and gave us a really nice gift certificate that we were able to buy the dirt and some extra flowers. And I'm telling you what, Home Depot blew it out of the park for us this year.
Thank you to them, too.
They just said, you want flowers? Here's this box and this box and this box of flowers. And so they look really plush and great. So those of you that see the flowers, just know that a lot of good people here in town helped us to put them out there.
Sure.
And merchants, by the way, a big shout out and thank you to the City of Roswell Parks Department. They are working, and of course, Jim Burris and his team with the city, they are working on the water because we have a watering system downtown. The one on the west side works great. The one on the east side has a few issues.
Gotcha.
So either way, if you have flowers in front of your business, please do us a favor. Go out, check on them.
Yeah.
Water them if it's not dripping because they're still working on it. So you may not be getting water in your area.
Just kind of keep tabs. If you're noticing the soil's not moist or anything, it's probably not getting watered. You probably should, if you don't mind, look after that.
Yeah, if you don't mind. I mean, Jim and them, they are working on it. I know they started over here on the north end of, the corridor and working their way south. But some of them, I think they got broken, and so it takes more than
anybody that has a sprinkler system in their yards or any kind of that know that they work great when they're great, but when there's problems, and it happens because anytime the weather changes or something, the elements tend to be rough on these kind of things.
Right. And we have had a couple of not a couple, maybe possibly a couple of planters. When people are parking, accidentally bump them.
This is true.
And so they do get cracked and
broken. The driving skills of the people of Roswell are not the best. I've seen every fence. Like, you want to have a fun one? And I think they've done some work to it, but down the next to Carebelly Dental and Sonic, go to that Sonic, and the thing there's a fence that used to be there. It's no longer there because people don't know when to stop. And they just right into that thing. So the planners have suffered the same fate.
It wasn't me, but could have been. Could have been. Hey, trying to figure out how to park parallel parking over here in our building, Mike, is always a challenge.
Yeah, that's a that not every driver has.
Right,
parallel parking ability.
Well, let me just tell you about a couple of things that are coming up, and I may be out speaking to you guys a little bit more about this, but Main Street Roswell's been working on a project that started in 2016, which is a wayfinding plan.
Okay.
It is part of the master plan for Main Street. And part of that included some new benches with kiosks. And by kiosks, I mean directional signs and that type of thing.
Sure.
And also, it included 2 gateways. One gateway that was supposed to be on the north side of the corridor. And if you guys are wondering where the district of Main Street is, I mean, we don't do the whole Main Street. Okay, we're not responsible for everything from one.
Just the blocks, and to be honest, it's not only Main Street; it's the streets a couple blocks to either side of Main Street.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if you're at McDonald's on 8th Street, that's the start of the district. The end of the district is Alameda. So that encompasses all those businesses there.
So
and
all on Main Street between those two roads is in the Main Street corridor.
And then the ones that are east and west are the ones that are on Richardson and Virginia. And so that includes all those east and west businesses that are happening there. But the gateway, we've already made some designs for it. It's
and does it
come
like the side streets here, but like, is it Virginia and
It's actually they're really weird. It's the
like are those part of that too, or is that the edge?
No,
I couldn't remember.
And it's actually Virginia is the edge going east.
Okay.
But it also encompasses a little bit of the railroad district.
So on the other side of Virginia, there the businesses that are on the other side. There,
yes,
the
and
east side,
where the barbecue place was, but it's not there anymore.
East of Virginia, there those businesses are part of the corridor.
Because that is the railroad district is part of the metropolitan redevelopment plan.
Okay.
So there are plans to develop that area at some point. So it is encompassed within.
As a matter of fact, I know you've partnered with the county and talking about some, and they've got some plans of some stuff they want to do in that area too.
Yep.
All for the benefit of the mainstream corridor here.
Yep.
So. Again, but that's down the road plans, and we'll talk more about those as
and actually, this couple of weeks ago now, it's been about 3 weeks ago, the county, along with Main Street, did a public presentation that we held at the convention center to go over the new and upcoming cultural plaza.
Yeah.
Which
is kind of going to be
it's going to be
like on the side of the court. Like what they're trying to do is give a place where we can do some of the courthouse lawn things there to it's quite frankly, we want to protect the courthouse lawn a little bit.
Or to give us another outdoor venue.
We love having venues there, but quite frankly, when you have a venue, it does tear up the grass and it's a lot of maintenance and upkeep to keep that going. Not saying we don't have events there, we will, but maybe if we can shoot some of this over to the new plaza, that'll give us a little bit of break on the grass.
Right. Well, plus it does a lot of other things. Just to let you guys know, Main Street Roswell had a project that we worked on a while back that was called the Great Blocks Project. And we had plans to put it somewhere within the district. That did not work out. And so therefore we kind of tried to figure out another partner because we have to partner up with an entity, government entity, either the city or the county. And so we went ahead and worked with the county on this one. It started out with the city and then it moved on to the county on this one. And the location got changed. The good thing about it was that the county already had this plaza in their wish list. So they already wanted this.
So like minds were thinking here.
Yeah.
We were thinking the same thing. Let's see what we can do to partner here.
Yeah. So through the New Mexico Main Street Economic Development Department and capital outlay funding, we received $2.1 million and towards that cultural park. And so not a park, but a plaza, but it will be behind. So you have the courthouse, then you have the administrative buildings behind the courthouse, you have the parking lot, and directly behind that, before you hit the railroad, that's where this plaza will be.
Yeah. So it's right there, still in the same area. You park in the same spots.
It's still in the Main Street district.
Yeah, you can park there behind the courthouse and everything, and you just wander on over to the plaza there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really fun.
Yeah. But down the road we'll start. But the plans are in place. And
the plans
now
are in
they're
place.
just I'm sure at the stage of designing, setting up, and getting the next level. But as far as the idea, concept, securing some of the money, that part's moving forward.
Right. And you know what, Mike? Just one more blurb about this is. What's going to be cool about it, a lot of times when we do events on the courthouse, you can't fence it in. You can't have a closed event or an event where you
This
charge.
will provide that ability to do that.
This will be a closed-in area. Will have a fence around it. It'll have a stage. It'll have.
So if they want to have like ticketed events or things like that, where you have to have an entry point, we can do that.
So that's going to be great. So let me tell you what's going on Main Street so you don't miss it, because something's coming up just like today. So looks like the Fine Arts and the Gallery inside Main Street Arts would like to invite friends and family and customers to celebrate their 10th anniversary celebration.
Oh, cool. That's a fun place if you've never been in there.
It's really, really fun. They've been doing so many fun things there. They have paint parties. They just recently did kind of a fundraiser for the love of community.
And it's kind of like a mall for local artists, too. Like if you want to see works from local artists and purchase or having them commission works for you.
Yeah.
They have their spaces in there, and it's kind of like shopping. You walk around, it's like, oh, here's the artist booth, and you see
and it's somebody different in every one of them.
And the art's all unique. It could be ceramics, it could be paintings, it could be woodworking, it could be any medium of art.
Sure,
it just depends on what the artists in residence are doing at that moment.
But go in there and see them today. It'll be open. They'll be open from 4 to 7 today, Friday, May the 3rd, at the gallery. It looks like they're going to have some appetizers and some non-alcoholic drinks, and also a cash bar.
Nice.
For those of you that might be
So
interested.
come and check out some of the art, meet the artists, and then come. And by the way, if you have an inspiration to do art and do things, they do classes and things. Like if you want to, learn some of this stuff, they
did some watercolors, I believe, recently. Some water painting.
Yeah.
I guess you can.
The staff and volunteers and everything.
I have no talent that way, but I know some people that can just go in there and just pick it up.
And here's the thing: I don't either, but they just have a knack of drawing the talent out of you. Like, and I'm telling you, like I did the whole, like when they did the charity thing where they kind of had people around
they were
town
going to do celebrities
doing
in
the
town,
paintings.
so you were one of the celebrities there.
Yeah, so I did, and I have none. And they not only did my painting look good, but I was like,
I might take this up.
This might be like something that actually someone else might like too,
Yeah.
And so, and they brought that out of me. So let them do that for you.
Plus, it was such a good event, and they raised money for their cause. I don't remember what their cause was.
Well, and that's kind of it's a flowing thing. It was kind of what people support your charity, support this, and so they did, and I'm hoping they plan for more of these because I think it was a huge success, and I know. She was telling me how she was planning that for a good year plus before we all heard about it.
I think they're planning another one coming up soon. So when they plan that, we'll be sure and put it out there. And those of you that are wondering, we never know what's going on downtown because guys, there's a lot that happens. Not all the events that happen downtown or at the courthouse lawn are Main Street projects. They're community projects. Just like was it yesterday? They had a National Prayer Day there.
On the courthouse lawn, if you were here around in the 12 p.m. hour yesterday,
sure.
You're like, what's going on over there? National Day of Prayer.
Yeah, so we encourage people to let us know what they have going on so that we can help to promote you. And we try to put in there, whether it's our event or not our event, just to say, this is what's going on down there so that you'll know what's going on.
And that's what the Main Street Corridor is. Yes, we have a Main Street district. We have the Main Street Roswell organization.
Yes.
And yes, their job is to foster and to make the Main Street Corridor better. But at the end of the day, what the Main Street Corridor is what the people of it make it to be.
That's right.
And it's the merchants, the people that shop, that frequent it. What you want to see the Main Street Corridor evolve to is ultimately what happens. Things like Food Truck Friday, that happens organically because people just wanted to do it. And that's the kind of stuff that Main Street supports. Yes, the plaza and all this, these are kind of, government entities organizing things, but what happens at this plaza is kind of up to the people of the Main Street Corridor.
And we have some great people downtown, the new kids shop downtown called Tiny Trends over on the south end of our district.
Yeah.
They got some great things. I can't completely tell you what's going to be going on, but we have a really cool new business opening up also on the south end of the corridor that I can't wait to talk to them more about what they have going because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But your people are always asking me, so what's available to be rented? Sometimes people let me know when they're leaving. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they let me know when they have something for rent or for sale.
But you guys kind of work like a one-stop shop for all properties in the Main Street Corridor.
If you have a property that you would, if you're looking, because just yesterday,
like for instance, this building's got empty buildings. If you're looking for an office, there's several offices.
It really is what you're looking for. If you're looking for an office, you can be here. You can be over at the SunWest Bank building, over there close to what is it? What is it? Sweet Baby J's.
Yeah.
Sweet Baby J's, that building upstairs has a lot of office locations.
But if you want a more storefront thing,
now if you want storefront, then that's a little bit different story for that one.
But it does ebb and flow. Keep tabs. But
so just keep tabs of it, and we'll let you know what all is going up and down Main Street. But there's one that's had one building that's right on the corner. Well, where Ancient of Days is at, somewhere close to that building.
Yeah.
They've had paper up on their windows for a while, and I can't wait for the big reveal, but that's going to be, sounds like a lot of fun as well.
Excellent.
And I'm hoping they'll open up just right before the UFO Festival.
That would be convenient, wouldn't it?
So, and if you're wondering if there's something to do, there's a place that's called the Roswell UFO Spacewalk.
Yes.
It's right here.
Right downtown.
Right downtown, and it always has really fun things. It says, who wants to go to the Roswell? Everyone. That's a no-brainer. Plot a course to 116 2nd Street. And I really like the picture they put in there, and you'll recognize this, but it's a very much a collective group of people in there. I'll let Mike see it.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of of Igor.
Yeah, kind of a Star Trek meets alien autopsy.
Yes, but it's really a cool. It's really a cool place to go.
Yeah.
And of course, we also have the blocks right across the street.
Bricktown.
The Bricktown.
Yeah,
Bricktown.
Bricktown.
So we have all kinds of fun things
Go
for
Lego
kids to
crazy
do.
up in there
Yep.
and see all this stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of family stuff right there in the Main Street
Right
corridor.
here, there's all kinds
and
of
then,
fun stuff
And then when
to
you're
do.
done, walk down to one of the restaurants nearby or one of the
have
shops.
something great
and
to
get
eat
something
here.
to snack on. Whether it's dessert or a more full meal or something in between, they got
and
you
if you're not in
covered.
the mood for Mexican food or something like that, we do also have, Subway right down the street there. We have
Peppers.
We have Sonic as well. We have McDonald's. So
Yeah.
come
And
down to
Peppers
the
and some of those, they have full menus of everything that aren't just Mexican.
Peppers, has this great outdoor space.
Mm-hmm. They do their patio of, usually from time to time have live singers and little mini I say concerts, but just hanging out and just they're playing music and you enjoy your meals or beverage and hang out and
if you
socialize.
And if you just want to go to the museum and then go across the street right there, you got Toro Bravo. Yeah. And the Toro Bravo Bakery is right there. And by the way, guys, they have great bakery stuff.
Biscuititos.
My
or
favorite.
A 10 out of that
Do you know
place.
what? I like the little white ones, like the wedding cookies.
Yeah.
So,
and if you like Tres Leches cake, I've had a pretty good one out of that one too.
Really?
Before. So
wow.
yeah.
Well, you can't go bad with that, right? So let me tell you a little something that's going on. Also, that some of you might want to get involved in the EDC, which is the Economic Development Center, and it's actually located within our district. So it's the Roswell Chaves County Economic Development Corporation.
Yeah, it's a lot of words, but they're covering the region for business opportunities.
So they're doing something that's called the Best of Chaves County. They want to know what you think. They want you to click and vote for your favorite dining, shopping, service, and fun.
Show some love to your favorite establishments in town in Chaves County here.
This survey will take you less than 5 minutes. We will recognize winners of each category at the annual gala on July the 18th.
Okay.
Voting ends June the 15th.
And you know what? Roswell, y'all have some competition. There's some nice little restaurants in Dexter and Hagerman that are 10s.
Yeah.
And I bet they're going to get some love on here. So Roswell, you better come correct because Dexter Hagerman, they got some competition for delicious
and I don't know.
eats
And I don't know if
things.
there's write-ins or whatever, or what the categories are, because I have not clicked on this yet. But you might want to look at their website or give them a call and just say, how do I do this? I want to vote for my favorite restaurant.
Yeah.
A number of people have done this in the past. From the newspaper to, I don't even know who else did it. Maybe even the chamber, but. I'm really glad that they picked this up and are doing something with it.
Yeah, right the ball and run with it.
Yeah, it's time to do that.
Well, and that's part of the fun too is because it shows the locals our pride in some of our great stuff, but also outside people when they come looking for things to do, they come across articles like this and they find out, I was reading a thing about this restaurant over there. We should go, when we're here, we need to. And so how do they learn that? By coming across articles and information like this on the internet. When people, because how do you, think about it, when y'all plan a vacation or a trip, y'all get online, start looking for things to do, what's going on and all that kind. Well, guess what? When people come here, they're doing the same thing.
Right.
And so when that kind of thing happens, it's more stuff for them to see and tout and talk about. And to be honest, that's the stuff that gets a little more run because we all know the tentpole stuff. Everyone comes for the aliens or this or that. It's when they look for the nuggets off the highway of great stuff.
And right
we have
now
we've
had some new mom and pop restaurants that are popping up, not within my district, but further on south. And north, some new places are opening up. So look around. We've got some great places to eat.
Absolutely.
So we have something else that's a little bit more serious that's coming up. The New Mexico Climate Adaptation and Resilience Plan.
Okay.
As part of New Mexico's plan to support resilient communities in protecting what we care about the most, our land, our people, and our New Mexican traditions. This will be coming up as a upcoming community conversation will be happening Tuesday, May the 21st, and it'll be out at the college at the Occupational Technology Center.
OTC building.
At the OTC building. So it'll be May 21st from 6 to 7:30 p.m. So maybe you want to get into that conversation, share your story.
Well, if you have a concern there and listen or hear, because let's face it, regardless of your politics on green energy and all that stuff, we all live on the same planet. We all want the nicest place possible.
That's right.
What can we do to make that stay that way?
I mean, I really like this. Our land, our people, and our New Mexican traditions.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, so,
But if you have questions about that, look for it on our Facebook.
The best way for you to know what's going on is staying informed, going to meetings like this, hearing what and to be honest, meetings like this cut through all the other crap. Like, problem is, if you're basing your information on things off of stuff online or social media, you're getting a filter of 20 other people's opinions and hot garbage of may be true, may not be true. At a meeting like this, you're having people that are giving you the straight scoop one way or another. There's not a filter of the public injecting their opinions on this stuff. So you're hearing that information. You can take it in and act accordingly that way, whether you want to do more about it or you think it's hokum, whatever your opinion is, but you get to do it yourself.
That's right.
And that's what this
and the other thing is, if you guys don't mind, please get on our Facebook, like our Facebook. It's Main Street Roswell. There's another separate page for people that are stakeholders, but there is a Main Street Roswell Facebook page. Please get on there. Give us, look us up. It's got our phone numbers or email addresses. You got ideas. You want to help us out with something. We would love to have you give us a call. And I mean, because there's a lot of things we do. The bottle capped benches is still going.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot going on.
Kind of getting to my point, what the Main Street Corridor is what the people want it to be.
That's right.
And if you're not involved, it's kind of hard to make that happen. So
and if we don't have enough people, we kind of have a hard time.
So volunteer, yes, please. If you want to
implementing anything,
I'm going to remind people again. If you want nice things in your community, you have to do that yourself. No one else is going to just bring you nice things. You have to fight for it, you have to scratch for it, and you have to work for it.
That's right.
And if you're not willing to do that, then guess what? You're probably not going to get the nice things. Because if you're sitting around waiting for the magic fairy to come and just dawn you, hey, Dominus Ominous Plaza, Dominus Ominous bathrooms for everyone.
That's right.
It takes money, hard work, and time
it
and effort to do that.
It takes time and a lot of hoops to jump through. So whenever you say to me, hey, Barbara, what are you going to do about this situation? Or what are you going to do about bathrooms? It's like, we are working on it, you guys. These things do not happen overnight.
Absolutely.
But they are on our checklist. They are on our wish list. They are on idea list. So
I don't know. What would you, and when next time you come up to her and say that, like, I don't know, we're working on it. Would you like to help out to make it faster? What can you do to help do that?
Yep.
You know, instead of coming complaining about why things aren't here, we'll come to you and say, great, well, we're having a problem there. How can you help us get that done?
Yeah, what's your idea?
You seem to be very concerned about it. What you want to invest your time and energy into it? Because it seems like you care about this.
Yeah.
We need more people to care about this to get it done.
That's right. That's right.
That's
so
the straight truth.
There's our blurb on that one. So there you go.
Excellent. Well,
But come
thank you
help
very
us
much.
if you can. We'd appreciate it.
And come on out. Come downtown today. Come shopping. Come check it out.
Come see what's going on.
Come check out Main Street Arts and their open house. Come see all the cool downtown merchants.
It's time to get your mom's Mother's Day present. Do not wait till the last minute.
Yeah,
come
get
on
some
down.
shopping down now so you're not that person on May the 12th or whenever Mother's Day is, walking around at the cards or picking through the flowers or picking through the leftovers.
Going to get a card really quick.
Exactly. So, very good. Well, thank you, Barbara.
Well, you're welcome.
Always.
Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend.
And we'll see you next time,
See you
if
next
not
time.
sooner here.
All right, then. Bye-bye.
All right, 9:56, quick break before they kick me off the radio. Don't go away.
So text faith to the number 989898 right now and take action to protect your own prosperity.
Presidential elections underway in Chad. The country has been under the thumb of the military for a long time.
The presidential election was due to be held 2 years ago, but the military authorities prolonged the transitional period. Despite an initial promise not to run in the next election, transitional leader Mahamat Debi is among the 10 candidates vying to be president. Some members of the opposition and civil society have called for a boycott of the polls, saying the process has been organized to solidify his stay in power. The results are expected to be released by the 21st of May, but a second round could be held in June if there is no clear winner in the first round.
The BBC's Paul Njai. Turns out a 16-year-old boy shot dead by police after stabbing a man in Western Australia had been in a de-radicalization program for a couple of years. The teen called police to say that he planned to commit an act of violence, but he didn't say where. News and analysis at townhall.com. His name is Charles Shea, a D-Day veteran who plans to take part in next month's 80th anniversary ceremonies marking the World War II landings in Normandy.
Not far from the shores of Normandy, Charles Shea, a Penobscot tribe citizen from Maine, speaks to the AP from his home in France.
Well, I guess I was prepared to give my life if I had to.
It was on those shores 80 years ago that Shea recalls the horrific sights, bleeding soldiers, body parts and corpses strewn around him, machine gun fire and shells filling the air. He's about to take part in the 80th anniversary commemorations of the landings in Normandy that led to the liberation of France and Europe from Nazi Germany occupation. I'm Karen Shamas.
Mexican authorities say relatives have positively identified 3 bodies found in a well as those of 2 Australian surfers and 1 American who went missing last week in the Baja California Peninsula. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to our number 3. Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday, everybody.
Yes.
Hope your Monday is going well.
Ah, yes.
By the way, last hour I did go on to Netflix and look, and the entire Tom Brady 3-hour and 4-minute roast is there. So I think it's unedited.
Heck yeah.
And
we were checking out.
I did see a few clips.
3 hours, though?
3 hours and 4 minutes.
That's a lot of time.
There's a lot of people.
Because, I mean, it is a Netflix roast, so it's going to be commercial free.
Yeah.
So that's just wall to wall.
Well, there's a lot of people. Like, I mean, because he's got like teammates. I mean, Edelman, Gronk, Kraft, the owner.
I can't imagine
he's on there.
Funny.
Brady, and your slew of comedians. Your, Jeff Rosses and all those guys. Segura and those guys. Tom Segura and the guys that always show up at these shows. Yeah. So it's a lot of people. A lot of people got.
It'd be worth
a lot to say about Tom Brady.
It'd be worth checking out, I'm sure. But
Kevin Hart's all over it. I'm sure he speaks, but I've seen a lot of clips of him sitting next to him.
I think that Kevin Hart signed like a 5, not picture deal with them, but like a 5 feature thing with them, some kind of like number of features. So he just has to like pop up at random on stuff.
Yeah, I guess Chappelle too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's at the roast, but I
Hey
know,
man, when you got that
Kevin Hart
Netflix
is.
money coming in, you got you keep your butter, you keep your bread buttered. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm gonna go check it out here now. But it's there. I saw it this morning, so
should be good for a watch.
Yeah. I saw a couple clips. There's some some shots that are taken in this thing.
I mean, and that's the thing is it's Netflix, so it's going to be uncensored. There's no commercials, but I'm curious how far they're willing to push it, especially in 2024, where you really got to be careful with just what you say.
The things I saw were pretty whoa. The couple, even Brady was throwing some shots.
I mean, you have to when you're opening yourself up, you have to be.
There was a Kardashian one that was pretty good.
Oh yeah, nice. You got to have a few in the chamber. That's all I'm saying. I wonder. I mean, I'm curious if Seth MacFarlane has any involvement.
I don't know. Maybe.
Because I mean, those two are semi-close, or they have been in the past.
Well, Mark Wahlberg and all
Mac,
that.
Mac So he's like, who's Mark Wahlberg? I'm like, no, Mac Wahlberg. Say it right.
Has there any been scuttlebutt about a season 2 of Ted on Peacock?
I haven't heard anything. Honestly,
I hope there is.
I really do too. But with the way
really good
that things have been going over there, plus you got to imagine it's very labor intensive to put a show like that together.
I got to be honest. I dig the Ted TV show better than the movies.
Yes, I would say that the chemistry between teenage John and teenage Ted is better.
I care way more about the characters and the story in the Ted TV show than I do in the movies.
Yes, but I also would argue you couldn't have one without the
You're
other.
absolutely correct. Yeah, I care about the TV show because of the movies.
And yes, I would agree.
But
the TV show does a better job of making you want to root for these characters.
Like I saw Ted movies and like, yeah, they're fun, but like I'm like
Ted 2 especially.
Yeah, I would be like Ted Ted season 2. I would be like all like I look forward to that. Like if someone said, "Oh, it's coming out in February" or whatever, I'm like, "Yes, thank you."
The movie Ted 2 didn't give me a reason really to root for Ted.
No,
but Ted and teenage John, I root for those characters. I want them to succeed. And at the same time, it's one of those shows where it doesn't matter what the plot is.
Right.
It just put them together.
Yeah.
Put the two of them together and just have them just start talking.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's about stuff of the time, because that's the stuff of that time.
Sure.
Like where they bring in the Sega Genesis and all that.
Yeah.
That's
and let's just face it, like the one episode where the dad's toy truck, I mean, that's ridiculous.
That is totally ridiculous.
It's funny and it's good. It was entertaining.
What really blows my mind is that angry, gruff-voiced, mean, misogynistic, racist father in Ted is the voice of the adorable, precocious, phenomenally voiced Steve Smith on American Dad.
Acting.
I know, but what kind of range? Because if you've ever watched American Dad, when Steve goes on his rants, when he's like, "Oh my God," like he hits these notes where you're like, what kind of, you have Mariah Carey's range, sir.
These are the guys that make these things the magic that it is.
It really is. Yeah, Scott Grimes is a phenomenal actor,
and they don't get the credit that they deserve sometimes.
And yes,
at least not in the public.
The ensemble cast of Ted totally make that movie.
Yeah,
the dad, the completely just basket case mom.
Yeah,
I mean they make that movie.
And a guy my age relates because even if that wasn't your parents, you knew, like you had friends and they're like, yeah, that was kind of like so and so's mom or so. You know what I mean? Like they were
relatable,
completely different, but very everyman to most people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now here's something I never figured out about the Ted series, and maybe I need to go back and watch the movies. Maybe they answer the question in the movies. What is Ted's issue with the name Sheila? They never explain it throughout the entirety of the series, but every time he hears the name Sheila, he grimaces.
I'm sure there's something somewhere.
And the girl who deals the pot, her name is Sheila. And at one point he goes, "So you ever think about changing that god awful name of yours?" She's like, "It was my dead grandmother's." And then he comes back out. He hands John the pot. He's like, "Yeah, so we have to find a new dealer because I can't come back here. We can't come back here." Something like that.
Yeah.
It's just that's such a great delivery.
Yeah.
That and then
we'll find out
the names of the strains of the butt.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to autism.
Yeah. Well, that's a joke. Well, that's a running joke in all the movies. Like every movie, they do that bit where the strain. They talk about the strains, and it's ridiculous, over the top. But.
Help, and a strain called "This Is Permanent Now."
Yeah, those are. But you know what? I would give that nod to Grandma's Boy. Because Grandma's Boy did it before they did it.
Well, and honestly, I'm trying to remember which one came first, because I think Grandma's Boy beget Pineapple Express.
Yeah.
Which then beget Ted.
Yes.
Was Pineapple Express after? I feel like Pineapple Express was probably in the middle of those two.
Yeah.
Because Grandma's Boy, that's a noodle scratcher. Grandma's Boy, I feel like was a while ago.
I think it predates all of them.
Grandma's Boy, that was 2006. Okay, so then Pineapple Express would be 2008. So there you go. So Grandma's Boy beget Pineapple Express beget Ted.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go.
And now you know. The more you know.
But yeah, it's but yeah, I've got the Unfrosted thing to check out. I've got the Tom Brady roast. I got quite a bit. Not to mention, I'm still wrapped up in other things too that Franklin I kind of took a back seat on, but I'll get back into that one.
Yeah.
There's Napoleon. I want to eventually watch that on Apple Plus, but I got to devote and get my mind right around that one.
We finished After Party.
Yeah.
The second season, I would say, not quite as satisfying as the ending to the first season.
Yeah.
But only because the ending to the first season was such a shocker.
Yeah.
But if you like a good whodunit and to break down piece by piece, episode by episode, it's a great series to do so.
Nice.
Because you get one picture painted in one episode, and there's all these little Easter eggs that are dropped, and they don't get answered until 4 episodes later. You're like, oh, that's what they were talking about when that happened. And so you start building this whole puzzle. It's really fun.
To be honest, I think that's kind of the secret to having a well-written series. Because of all the series that people talk about and they're kind of tentpole, like Breaking Bad, they all share that element.
There's a giant whiteboard in some room somewhere. Yeah. How does this connect to this, and what do we do with this, and what about this thing? And then
especially when you get into universes.
And if you're familiar with writing styles and what Chekhov's gun is, and that's basically once a prop or a thing is introduced, it has to be used.
Yeah.
So if you and that's actually a fun fact in Breaking Bad.
Yes.
In the 5th season, when in the first episode of the 5th season, when Walt is out in the parking lot of the Denny's or whatever, and he opens the trunk and they show the gun, the writer's room, Vince Gilligan had said over and over again, they had no idea what they were going to do with the gun. They had no idea where they were going to go from there. They just said, we're going to put a thing here, we're going to put a thing in place, and we're going to write our way backwards.
Okay.
They're going to write back from this, and they're going to say, okay, this is here. So how do we get from here, where we are now, to why he's got this gun in the future?
And that's an interesting way to do it, because a lot of stories, it's popular to tell a story that way. If you notice, pretty much every Hangover movie tells us the story in that way, where they start with the crazy thing at the beginning. How did we get there?
It's actually it's a brilliant writing tool, but it's kind of a crutch if you think about it, because you're giving yourself a way to write yourself out of a corner.
Sure.
If you go on a path and you're constantly going, you're eventually going to hit that point where you're just at a corner. But if you give yourself this random gun over here, now I've got a way to write myself backwards, and we can work to attach the two ends, so to speak.
Absolutely. Good deal. Well, my guest is here.
Yes, they are.
Let me give you the rundown of what we're going to be doing this hour of the show.
Ooh.
Obviously, we'll get you up to date with the weather and all that here in just a few minutes. But we're going to have Amy McVeigh-Tejas join us from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico. And joining us on the phone will be author Dewey Johnson. And we're going to talk a little baseball with you. He's an author of a short read called The Last Doubleheader. And it's talking about Joe Bauman and, of course, the Roswell Rockets and the era of the Roswell Rockets baseball team, and kind of a short-lived, World War II era, post-war era team and all that, and just a little history of that. So we'll talk with Dewey about his newest book, and we'll also talk a little baseball. And we'll get an update on what's going on at the Historical Society, too. So all of the above happening this hour. Before we do any of that, though, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good today, except for the gusty wind at 20 to 40 miles an hour through the day. We will have some sunshine, though. Afternoon high will be in the upper 80s, down to 50 and still pretty windy for the overnight hours under clear skies. We'll hit about 90 for the afternoon high on Tuesday, still breezy but not as windy, and we get a sunny day, sunshine on Wednesday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 75 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 15%. Hence the reason for the red flag warnings and all that. Winds currently out of the south at 15 miles per hour. We do have a red flag warning that kicks in at 11 a.m. this morning, remaining in effect through 8 p.m. this evening. Expect patchy blowing dust for later this afternoon. Sunny and 86 are high, but the winds will be out of the west this morning, 15 to 20 miles per hour. Later today, those winds will increase 20 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. Clear tonight with an overnight low of 50. Winds will be breezy out of the west, 15 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. Expect winds to drop 5 to 15 after midnight tonight. Tuesday, we have a fire weather watch that's going to kick in at 11 a.m. I imagine that will change over to a red flag warning as today progresses, but tomorrow kind of looking a lot like today. Patchy blowing dust for the afternoon, sunny and 92. Southwest winds 5 to 10 in the morning, 15 to 25, gusting as high as 35 miles per hour later Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday night, we're looking at clear skies and breezy with an overnight low of 57. Southwest winds 20 to 25, gusting as high as 40 miles per hour, dropping down 10 to 15 after midnight. Wednesday, sunny, 88. Northwest winds 10 to 15. Thursday, sunny and 82. Friday, we do have a slight chance for afternoon showers, otherwise partly cloudy. High of only 75. And then 20% chance of showers, partly cloudy, and 80 Saturday. 20% chance of showers, mostly sunny, 82 on Sunday. All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And then on the other side, we'll talk with Amy McVeigh-Tejas from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico. Also, author Dewey Johnson talking about his latest book, One Last Double Header. That's coming up next. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Senator Greg Neibert is the only candidate in the race for State Senate District 27 with a strong conservative record on border security and stopping illegal immigration. Greg Neibert has voted against free college for illegals. He's voted against professional licensing for illegals. He has stood strong against Michelle Lujan Grisham, turning New Mexico into a sanctuary state for drugs, crime, and criminals. He has fought to end catch and release for violent criminals and will continue to do so. New Mexico is at the center of a border crisis because our laws make us a haven for illegal immigrants, drug trafficking, and cartel activity. MLG's liberal agenda has unleashed terrible harm on our state. That's why a vote for Greg Neibert is a vote to take back our border security. Greg will keep fighting against the march of the radical left that threatens to harm our way of life. Vote for Greg Neibert, a proving conservative voice for State Senate.
Paid for by Greg Neibert for State Senate.
Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company, here to announce that our geraniums are ready. So now the great debate begins. Are they pink or are they raspberry sorbet? Are they orange or are they Caribbean coral? Well, whatever you call them, they're the prettiest geraniums anywhere. We raise them in our own greenhouse, then send them home with you to brighten up the world. So come get yours now while the selection is best. Don't worry about the silly names.
I heard that.
Yes, dear. Coming, dear. Right away, dear. Of course, you're right.
You don't have to live with a non-healing wound. The Wound Care and Hyperbaric Medicine Center at Artesia General Hospital provides compassionate care to people experiencing chronic or complicated wounds. Led by certified family nurse practitioner Rochelle McIntyre, our wound care team will work with you to build your customized treatment plan. Podiatrist Jennifer Chow and Joseph Krupa also specialize in lower limb wound care, and we are proud to have state-of-the-art hyperbaric oxygen chambers, a proven treatment that promotes successful healing. Visit artesiageneral.com/wound to learn more.
This is State Representative Candy Spence Ezell. I'm a lifelong farmer and rancher.
For the past decade, I've been watching the radical policies of the so-called progressives in Santa Fe rapidly chip away at our traditional way of life. I've served in the state house for quite a while, and I'm known for saying no to Governor MLG every chance I get. I'm running now for the state senate, where I have a greater impact in fighting for our economic development, our rights, our freedoms, and our Western way of life. I'm a life member of the NRA. In my time in the legislature, I have received an A+ rating from the NRA every year I've been in office. I am unshakably pro-Second Amendment and always stand up to those trying to destroy our Constitution. I'm Candy Spence Ezell, asking for your vote in the upcoming Republican primary on June 4th.
Paid for by Candy Spence Ezell for State Senate, District 32.
The tool used to measure your feet at the shoe store is called a Brannock device. The person that measures your feet at home for no reason is called a creep with a foot fetish. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, they're connected. I couldn't find them. They were gone. I was like, their split's gone, and then I found them. But yeah, joining us in studio here from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, Amy Mivete is back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm great.
Good. And a special treat, joining us on the phone this morning, author of his latest book called One Last Doubleheader. We have also joining us on the phone, Dewey Johnson, this morning. Good morning, sir. Can you hear us okay?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for spending a few minutes with us. We do appreciate it here. And and of course, you've written some books and things. You know, this is not your first rodeo here, but your latest book here kind of gets back into the vein of Joe Bauman and the Roswell Rockets and kind of some of the real Roswell professional baseball history that I don't think a lot of people realize we have under our belts here.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Roswell really is fortunate to be able to talk about Joe Bowman and the Roswell Rockets and the glory that actually came to Roswell during his time there. It's a truly wonderful story about an unlikely hero. He was as humble as they come, and a couple of times before this, he was sort of thought that he was washed up in baseball. But to set the story, the 2 previous years he played for the Artesia Drillers.
Okay.
And he hit 50 home runs in 1951, or 52, and 53 in 1953.
Wow.
And then Dallas put in its own team, bought Artesia, put in its own team. He was unemployed. He came to Roswell. He was more interested in running a Texaco station than anything else in the world. And he had his opportunity to get his second station. He had one in Elk City. He bought it on the road to Ruidosa. The Rockets talked him into playing, and he did. And the amazing thing is that in the first 11 games of the 1954 season, he hit 10 home runs.
Wow.
That caused everybody to start thinking that maybe he could beat the record.
Yeah, he's averaging a home run a game here. It's like, hey, we're going out to see him a game. Odds are pretty good he's going to crank one out today.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the record that they were talking about had been set by 2 minor leaguers. It was 69. They weren't talking about Babe Ruth's 60, but 2 other guys had hit 69. And so it was an adventure. You know, he only had 138 games compared to today. You have 162 in the majors.
Sure.
And 4 of those got rained out and weren't replayed. So 134 games. Go ahead.
Plus, this is an era where this isn't their day job. like you said, like, they go to play baseball, but they gotta earn their living, and
right.
it's a little bit different than nowadays baseball players and stuff. That all they do is live, breathe, eat, sleep baseball. Where these guys back then, oh yeah, by the way, we're cranking out home runs, and then I got to go work at the gas station afterwards. That's a different
right.
that's a different
He
version.
owned it. He had to lock it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that kind of adds to that achievement just a little bit more,
Well, what really adds to the achievement is that he was such a good hitter. I mean, that year he also had a 400 batting average.
Wow.
He always was in the 300s. And so the coaches of other teams didn't want their pitchers to pitch to him.
Yeah.
And so in 54, he was walked 150 times.
Wow.
And he could have been a lot more than that, except he would reach out to hit the ball.
Was it common? Like, you kind of look at, over baseball history, and you look at players, and you look at your power hitters, you guys that crank out 50, 60 home runs a season. They're generally also, if you look at their stats, they strike out almost as much as they hit home runs because they're power hitters. So for a guy that can hit 50 home runs and have a 400 batting average, that's a unicorn right there. Yeah.
He was exceptional. He was exceptional.
So I would imagine, there's no managers, no pitchers that want to pitch to that guy because he's either putting it in the yard or putting himself on base somewhere. So odds are pretty good. We need to walk this dude.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Or if he threw to him, he'd try to avoid the strike zone, make him swing.
I'm sure he got nothing but trash when he actually did get pitches too. So
that's right.
So which again adds more to that feat because they're deliberately giving him stuff that won't crank out the yard. They're giving him junk that kind of sputs off this way or whatever if he gets a piece of it, and he's still putting it in the yard. You know what I mean? That's how big a deal this is we're talking about here.
And then as the season went on, the pressure got to him. Buck Lanier, who was a writer, sports writer for the Roswell Daily Record, wrote, "The eyes of the United States are on Roswell at present. If Joe does break it, pictures of him will be on the sports pages of every paper in the U.S." And so he had that pressure that he was going down to the wire. He didn't hit the 69th until the season was almost over.
Okay.
And would he make it? And interestingly enough, for the last few games that he played, not only was Life magazine covering it, but Sports Illustrated had just started up in August 1954. And so they were covering him. And he would go up to bat, and the camera shutters were clicking, and the flash bulbs were popping. It was just, it just really got to him.
And it's probably, you have to, for younger folks out there, you have to imagine it's a way different world than it is today. You didn't have news at your fingertips. You waited for the evening paper or the radio news or whatever. Certainly didn't have the internet or anything like that. So to have that kind of attention in the 40s and 50s is a huge thing compared to today.
It really was. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different animal there. So literally what you're talking about is kind of, that was the news of the world, and it was right here in Roswell, New Mexico. The entire world was watching what, like you were saying earlier, and that when we talk about Life magazine and Sports Illustrated, that was the tent poles. Everybody knew these things. Everybody, well, Sports Illustrated was fledgling at that point, but we all know the history there. So it's setting the table for that, which is really cool.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So G was curious, outside your book here, which we'll talk a little bit more in a second, but is there places where people can go in this state or somewhere where you can still see like the history of the uniforms and you know what I mean? Because to me, I've never been to the Cooperstown, so maybe there's something there, but but is someone collecting this stuff? And is there a place where people can see like the relics of this era?
Well, I'll let Amy talk to that, but let me add this prior. The book has already been cataloged in what's called the Baseball Reliquary.
Okay.
In Whittier, California.
Excellent.
And most people have never heard of the Baseball Reliquary, but it is pretty prominent amongst some people.
Okay.
In that it's sort of a rival to Cooperstown. It wants to tell the rest of the story.
I gotcha.
And so it really reveres Joe Bowman.
Okay.
It really does. But I don't know. I'd be interested in what other artifacts are at the Historical Museum, Amy.
Well, just first of all, before I go any further, Mike, it just makes my heart happy. I open this book, and I see this right when you opened. I just have to read this. I'm sincerely thankful to the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico for their encouragement and assistance in bringing this book into existence. Dewey Johnson. I'm proud and honored to be a friend and working with Dewey. I know John LeMan, our archives facility, assisted our little bit in this endeavor. That makes my heart happy. Also, Dewey, before I go any further, there's no coincidence that we just had almost 1,000 fourth graders in our museum. And that they're even saying these names of the Little League World Series, or whether it's Tommy Jordan or Joe Ballman, that they even know who that is, and they realize they're a part of something so much greater. And they realize when they go, some kids call it the Joe Bowman, or I grew up saying the old Coca-Cola field.
Yeah. Depending on your audience,
and
you get 10 different names.
Whether it's Stilesfield and whether it's Alliance Hondo or whether it is Nunop, we help them realize that this is about something so much greater.
Absolutely.
Now, to get very specific on specific items and their locations, call the museum. We can give you more information regarding these items, because I know many are all over. Because, I mean, he even refers to things in California.
And that's why I was just curious if maybe like Cooperstown or something had a exhibit or display.
And then
we
have some, but not... just like with us redoing the museum, we are very limited on our cases and different things.
We have things in the archives.
And then there's also a whole different conversation about anything original that's right out front and center nowadays. In our little museums, we have to be careful.
Sure.
But, Dewey, I can't tell you how proud we are and excited we are to talk ball, because, Mike, I could sit here all day and twice on Sunday. There's nothing that makes my heart happier talking about our legacy of the sport.
Well, I'm delighted to be a part of it, really.
And but it takes gentlemen like yourself to remind us of the history and to share that history, and that's why I love what your books do. And in this particular one, the One Last Doubleheader. And by the way, this is a small book. This is not War and Peace, so if you're just looking for something that's a short read with a great story, but it's not 7,000 pages. This is a short read with a wealth of just great stories and really and you kind of mentioned something about the fourth grade tours, and what I love about that is these stories talk about some of the same ball fields that some of these kids play their little league on in the evenings and during the summer.
Your book was right out there, and kids were picking it up and they're touching it, and some didn't know that name.
Yeah,
but they knew we were part of something greater. And also, so amazing what Dewey does, Mike, is right off the back in the preface of the book, he's just making those connections about history in general. You're just laying that out about our foundation of the history. And there's power in him just making the connections as we do. People are coming from all over the world, and you can open this book and realize we're greater than just one fact about one thing.
Absolutely. Well,
there's tons of things.
Absolutely. Well, and kind of in the broad scope here, like you're talking about, we're talking baseball here this morning, and the impact globally Roswell, New Mexico has had on baseball.
The greats.
I give another example in the different sport, but same mindset is we just had the Kentucky Derby over the weekend.
Yes.
Obviously, we know Mind That Bird and all that, but even in yesterday's Kentucky Derby, there's New Mexico history all through that. There was one of the horses that, they grew up learning their ropes at the Downs in Ruidoso, and some of these jockeys and owners, and they got their starting here in Ruidoso,
and
in
you
New
hear
Mexico.
that, if you watch the footage,
Yeah.
there's no coincidence that time and time again, New Mexico's being referred.
And Roswell is very much in the baseball fabric that very same way, and that's what Dewey's sharing with you is some of these stories, and to me I'm just as fascinated in the history of the Roswell Rockets and that post-era just baseball league, and obviously now defunct because it was a time where the leagues were trying to figure out and form in post-war era. So you kind of look at like football today with USFL and XFL, and they're trying to kind of establish their footholds. Well, baseball was doing that back then here in the 40s and 50s, trying to reestablish post-war era, getting back to normal. And so to me, that side is almost as fascinating as Joe Bauman's story and some of these players we talk about is some of how these teams started, how long they went, what, how they, what ultimately ended them. To me, that's interesting stuff. And these books are littered with all of that history behind it. So really good stuff.
And great photos. Doing great photos. I was looking on page 80, and we just see the legacy of Jim Waldrop.
Absolutely.
And those connections.
So just for you, Dewey, G was curious, what's the work like? Like when you, for this book here, like what, from concept to a book in someone's hands, what's that whole process like for you?
Well, back in 2005, I had lost my voice, and so came down with spasmodic dysphonia and didn't think I'd ever be able to be a speaker again.
Okay.
But I got through that and started thinking about, I went to a writer's festival, thought, well, maybe I would like to write a book, and so started with that, and I wrote Summer of Champions, which is really more about kids getting together than it was the World Series win. But then I got in speaking about the World Series championship in '56. And so I started reading more and trying to pick up more information, and I picked up a lot of stuff about Joe Bowman. One of Joe Bowman's, there was a sports writer in Albuquerque named Toby Smith, and he wrote about as much as anybody else. And so I picked up a lot of things along the way that I eventually put into that book. For example, when Joe Bowman, when Pete Domenici pitched to Joe Bowman.
Yeah, I didn't even get to mention that name yet. We talked about. I was like, yeah, there's a few names in this story too that you might not think of in baseball. You know them, but not from baseball perspectives. And that's one of them.
And then the other one of those names is Tommy Brookshaw.
Yeah,
and who may be the best pro football player to ever come out of New Mexico. That of course is hard to prove, but he was really something.
It is up for debate, but there'll be people that won't argue with you. That's for certain.
He played a month with the Roswell Rockets, and so there's just I've just picked up a whole bunch of stuff. Also, at the time, one of my best friends was Dick St. John, and his dad ran the concessions for the Rockets games, and he would be out there handing out seat cushions to people who wanted them. And so, I got to hear about all of these things, and so it's always been an interest of mine, and finally just put it together in the book.
Awesome. Well, we're thankful that the bug bit you, and you got this desire to be a storyteller, because to be honest, we lose history when gentlemen like yourself don't preserve it like this. And so I feel like, yourself and people like you are the reason why these people don't, their stories and their what they did don't die in the history of everything. And I'd like to say, because of your books and your things, the kids that are into baseball now, their grandkids are going to be able to learn about Roswell baseball history and the fabric of Roswell in the big picture of the United States of America. And your books and stories like them are very much preserving that for not only our next generation, but the generations that go beyond that.
Well, and I think
thank you. I'm delighted to do it.
And we greatly appreciate it. Now, good news is this book is pretty easy to get.
Yes.
All you got to do is, we know some people over at the Historical Society, and you can swing on by or go online to our website, and you can get a copy of this and his other books as well, too.
For sure.
And while you're there looking at books, you can check out Donna Blake Burchell's books and John LeMay and Elvis Fleming and all the other great local authors that cover, and it's pretty broad. Like, it's not like it's all history, but it's not all like history. I mean, we go baseball, we go ghost stories, we go outlaws, we go cowboys, we go everything. There's every author goes in a different direction with New Mexico history here, and so whether it's sports or ghosts or cowboys or something in between, we got some great history and stories to tell you. So
I just think there's power in us making all these connections, connecting these dots, and realizing the baseball that we have now is just part of that continuous legacy. That ballpark is so much greater than just a ballpark.
Yeah.
And us making that history, and I think going back to what fourth graders help realize with our little tours is, I may not be into baseball, but that's fun. That's part of who we are. This is part of our history. Oh, by the way, you know what? I might be into baseball, or I might be into history for this. And it's just making these connections.
And the kids come out this summer and go see an Invaders game or two.
Yes, exactly.
And they go and see that, and they say, well, guess what? Joe Bauman's in the history of this.
This
is the books you're reading.
That's right. It's not just a ballpark.
Yeah.
It's a Joe Bauman ballpark.
Yeah. And so so really the Invaders are adding that next layer of history to the baseball here. And so when you go out to see the Invaders this summer, think back at Dewey's books, and this is where it all started.
That's for sure.
And this is the people and the history that made what you're doing that night happen and enjoying a ball game out at Joe Bauman Stadium.
That's right. That's right.
Good deal. So I got to ask Dewey, what's next? Are you taking a break with the pen, or are you already percolating for something else here?
Well, I hate to say this and not come through on it, but I think more attention needs to be paid to the 1956 team. And so I have started on that. That gives me 2 years to do the research and talk to some of the friends. The people on that team were basically 2 years older than I am.
And that's what I was saying is we're starting to get to a point where we're not going to have these people with us much longer. So we want to capture their stories, their experiences. We want to get as much of that while we still have them.
That's right.
To hear, the people that were in the room when this stuff went down. That's what we want to hear. And so Dewey, you're right. We want to capture as many of those experiences and stories from the people of the era while we're still blessed to have them with us.
And we're still blessed to have a couple right here in Roswell.
Absolutely.
And a couple have moved away, but they're still tugging at our hearts, and we're
life is taking them in different directions,
with them.
but they're still much part of the fabric. Absolutely.
Well, and it was just fun when we honored them at the Heritage.
It's hard
Center.
to believe that was a few years ago now. It feels like it was just a couple years ago, but it was pre-COVID we did all that.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, and so we've probably lost a few since then, obviously, because that was 8 years ago. But you're absolutely right, Dewey. This is so that's kind of where you kind of back into that area and kind of get more on the 56 World Series team here.
Yeah, and establishing the link that several people don't. You can't prove this, but it certainly helped the team to have been in the stands watching Joe Bowman 2 years earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Some people would say that they don't think Roswell could have done it apart from the excitement stirred up by Joe Bowman.
Sure. We needed him as the catalyst to light the fire.
And so you had kids here who grew up with thinking that anything was possible. And so this was the first year of that league. 1956, prior to the season opening, Tom Hoover from the Optimist Club, Noontime Optimist Club had started a league, and they had so many kids they couldn't stir them with a bat, and so they moved over to they went to the Lions Club and said, "Could you all start one?" And they said, "Well, no, not really. All our funds are committed." And they said, "Oh, just provide something for the kids." Well, and they did, and we affectionately refer to it as the worst baseball field in North America.
Yeah, they didn't exactly have the amenities.
The good, the bad.
Even for the day, they didn't have the best amenities. They were scraping together.
It's a good testament we were using what we could or what we had.
But to me, that's what makes it better.
That's true.
Like the memories that those people have from that era. We had to get 12 people to scrape one glove between the two of us, between the group, that was, but that also makes it sweeter. That's what, because it's all about passion. If they didn't have the passion, they could have given up at any time. It's like, well, we don't have the equipment, we don't have the men, any excuse could have easily derailed this.
That's right.
But because of that passion, and despite obstacles handed to them, they said, we're doing this. Whether we got good dirt or we ain't got, we got to go out and whittle some bats together. We're going to figure this one out. And I love that.
Yeah. The other night, I guess it's 2 weeks ago, I gave a speech to a local Lions Club. And I said, I want to tell you and thank you for what the Lions Club has made possible. This was an entirely different part of the world. And they were just in awe afterwards, saying, my gosh,
right.
I don't know that we would have necessarily done that today. We would have had to have this, that, and the other.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's true.
We wouldn't have.
That's what I think, that's it. And that's just that era of history too. We always talk about the greatest generation and you hear things like that because it really was an era of time. If you wanted to happen, you had to roll up your sleeves and make it happen. And to be honest, that's just as true today as it was back then, but it was much more prevalent back then. It was, and so, because we had the World War II era where things were converted to make the world happen. And so that was the mindset of the people, and that carried post-war. You want baseball? We'll make it happen. We'll figure it out. And that's exactly what these people did. And so we love that. And we need to celebrate that. And we need to remind the next generations because there's going to be times.
One of the things I mention in my book is that all the players on the Rockets who are about 30 years and older were the greatest generation, and many of them had served in World War II.
Absolutely.
And then those that were younger than that, some of them had come straight back from Korea.
Yeah.
Others of them had just graduated from high school.
Yep.
So it was those two generations, and that was a great time.
Absolutely. So learn about it. Come read the stories. Come. Again, the latest book is called Our Last Doubleheader. It is available right now through the Historical Society. You can go to roswellnmhistory.org. You can go.
We would prefer you call because we have limited quantity, and something tells me we're going to sell these out quick. So I would ask anybody listening to call 622-8333. If I'm unavailable, leave a message. We've got a couple of things going on. I will get back to you right away, and let's get these. And then a step further, it's an honor to unify with you, Dewey, to make these connections. And anyway, we, on behalf of Roswell, the Historical Society in New Mexico, can partner with you. We are honored to do so.
Absolutely.
Oh, I appreciate the help. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Dewey. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here today. And
we really appreciate it.
And we can't wait to dive in and check out the latest book here and keep the stories coming, Dewey. We anxiously as long as you've got the strength and energy to do it, we're gonna eat it up and wait for as they come in.
Dewey, Mike's not
Thank
only.
you so much. Thank you for this time together.
Of course, Dewey. Mike's not only part of this radio station; he's on our board. So when we say we're a part of this, we are part of this.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've worn stockings for history. I've worn pantyhose for history.
That's right.
I've done Santa.
We'll do many things in the name of history, and we're here for you in any way we can work with you. We are more than happy to do so. And
I want to really give my appreciation to John LeMay because he helped put it together.
Yeah, John, because obviously this is what he does.
And John's working, or else he would be right here.
Yeah. But
he had another commitment. He thanks you, Dewey. He thanks you.
Well, we all inspire each other sometimes, and we all need each other. And there's days where I'm sure Dewey was having a rough one, and then John, and vice versa. Where others, John, or people having a rough day, and guys like Dewey come in and save the day. That's just how humans and humanity works.
That's right.
So, Dewey, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'd love
thank you, Mike.
And if you ever get down this neck of the woods, I can't wait to meet you in person. Be a good thing.
There you go.
Excellent.
Well, we have a high school reunion coming up in October. So
all right. Well,
I'll probably be there.
Yeah, good Lord willing, they let me hang on this earth till then, I will be there.
Well, and the Historical Society can be part of that, too. That's right.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Dewey.
Thank you.
Have an amazing day. And
have a great day.
We'll talk to you again soon, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. That was Dewey Johnson. And, again, get his book right now. Call Amy at the Historical Society here or come by. The book's called One Last Doubleheader. And this one is, and like I said, it's a shorter book, so you can get through this one pretty quick. But that will whet your beak for some of his other books. Or if you want to start chronologically, go for it. We can help you do that,
we
too.
Sure can.
But wherever you want to pick up. But if you're a baseball fan, Dewey Johnson's books are going to be right in your wheelhouse.
For sure.
Because he tells some great stories. And let's face it, these are stories that you don't always find in all the baseball circles. You know what I mean? Because of the history, and this local. Mm-hmm. And but it's equally part of the fabric of why things are done in Major League Baseball today, why you do some of that tradition started right on the dirts of Roswell, New Mexico.
I love making those connections, whether it is Pete Domenici or whether it is Mr. Waldrop.
Absolutely.
We know them for one thing, but they are right here, or whether it is Jimmy Valdez or Tommy Jordan or Tommy Jordan Sr. It's just a fun all connecting.
And that's the beauty of history, is because we may know them for one slice of their life. It's kind of like Benjamin Franklin. Franklin know what he does, but to me, you're like, what about the man lived on Earth and did a lot of things,
because we had a Hobson working for fourth grade school tours, and Mr. Hobson, of course, was part. I mean, it's just all those names.
I
it
love
sparks
hearing,
this great interest of super connecting these all into a family, and there's just it's to me greater than just talking about ball. I get so sick and tired of talking about our angst and division.
Mm-hmm.
These things have power in just unifying us. It's just all part of our family.
And that shows the real human side of history. It's like we talk of Benjamin Franklin, we speak of people like him in this certain status.
Yes.
But to me, it's like, oh yeah, this is the place where Benjamin Franklin ate breakfast every day. I love that. To me, that's because it puts the human element on it.
Yes,
it
just
shows
like that ball field out there. So many things. It's true.
Yeah, and this book is very much a part of it.
We are proud to be part of something so much greater. Support the Historical Society. We need memberships. We are working on scholarships right now. We're working in New Mexico Youth Challenge Academy. If I have one listener right now that is willing to give an additional scholarship to New Mexico Youth Challenge Academy, and you think, oh, Amy's asking for more money. We have over 50 applicants, Mike. And so anybody
in
listening,
all fairness, the money
can
goes right from us to somebody else.
It
so
does.
we're just a big conduit for it.
I know we're talking about ball, but it's all part of history.
Well,
we may have one of those next kids out there making history for us
now's
too.
The time to get your tickets for our Heritage Dinner that's coming up here in a few short months.
For Heritage Dinner, scholarships, memberships, tours. Just got through with kids. We're going to have more kids coming. We've got some great things happening in the summer.
It's a busy time of year right now.
Email me at historydirector@outlook.com. Mark's right. Go to roswellandhistory.org. We've got our May Texas Roadhouse Day coming up in May. So mark your calendars. It's the third week in May. Support. We just have a lot of things going on. Texas Roadhouse Night. Mark your calendars, May the 21st. collect your loose change.
Absolutely.
We just got a big old.
And don't
We've
forget,
got that.
now that we're getting warmer weather, if you got your quinceañeras and birthday parties,
yes, we've
our
got some
archive
high school.
facility is
Yep.
available for rental.
Meetings, events.
It can host about 75 people.
50, 75, just
It
depending
does
on what
have a
you're
full
doing.
kitchen and everything, so if you want to do a little food and all that. But and by the way,
We've got it cleaned up from school tours.
I'm a little bit biased, but the grounds of the Historical Society are beautiful for pictures and creating memories and all that stuff.
We've been seeing lately.
Very, very good, very beautiful spot to be doing that kind of stuff.
For sure.
So. But again, RoswellNMHistory.org. Give out the phone number.
622-8333, or you can text or call me directly at 575-915-4471. Text me about a book. And
History Director at Outlook.com is Amy's email. So if you've got questions about scholarships or donations or Heritage Dinner or the books or anything, and you don't know quite where to, just shoot her an email. She'll be happy to.
Or just send me a text, 575-915-4471. Thank you.
And thank you.
Have a great week.
You do the same. We'll
all
see
in the
you
name
here
of all.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Trust me,
Play
y'all
ball.
going to love it. It's a lot of fun. It's
Yes.
it's so cool stuff.
Yeah.
Good
Great.
deal. All right, 9:58, quick break before they kick me off the radio. Don't go away.
In southeast New Mexico, our state senator Greg Nibert has a strong conservative record, supporting the right to life, working to protect our conservative values, and standing up for the Second Amendment. That's why he's endorsed by the NRA. Greg Nibert has a record of opposing the liberal progressive Santa Fe agenda. He has consistently stood against illegal immigration, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham's harmful progressive agenda, and policies that try to take away our rights and freedoms. He has stood up for us time and time again, especially when our rights have been under attack. Greg is a champion for our communities, our values, and our way of life. Greg Nibert has a record that we can count on. He is a strong supporter of our oil and gas jobs, which is so essential to southeast New Mexico. We need Senator Greg Nibert in Santa Fe. He is a proven, committed conservative and a strong voice for eastern New Mexico.
Paid for by Greg Nibert for State Senate.
Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Cup, here to announce that our geraniums are ready. So now the great debate begins. Are they pink or are they raspberry sorbet? Are they orange or are they Caribbean coral? Well, whatever you call them, they're the prettiest geraniums anywhere. We raise them in our own greenhouse, then send them home with you to brighten up the world. So come get yours now while the selection is best. Don't worry about the silly names.
I heard that.
Yes, dear. Coming, dear. Right away, dear. Of course, you're right.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Bamboo plants can grow up to 36 inches in a day. So if you're told you're growing like a weed, you can say, no, I'm growing like a bamboo. Here's Mike Winters.
Evacuating from the southern city of Rafah in Gaza. That signals that a long-promised ground invasion there could be imminent. Meanwhile, Columbia University canceling its main commencement following pro-Palestinian campus protesting.
The university made the announcement Monday saying, based on feedback from our students, we have decided to focus attention on our class days and school-level graduation ceremonies, where students are honored individually alongside their peers, and to forego the university-wide ceremony that is scheduled for May 15th. The protests at Columbia and college campuses nationwide stem from the conflict that started October 7th when Hamas militants attacked southern Israel. Julie Walker, New York.
Also at townhall.com, floodwaters have closed some Texas schools. That's after days of heavy rains that pummeled the Houston area and left hundreds of people in need of rescue.
A 5-year-old boy riding in a car that was swept away in fast waters was killed. Harris County resident Greg Moss says when the water was rising, he moved his camper to higher ground and is staying at a friend's house.
The problem is all the development further up north. You know, they pave the roads and build houses and shopping centers and all that, and there's nowhere more for the dirt to absorb the water.
Houston is one of the most flood-prone metro areas in the country. The National Weather Service says that Lake Livingston, just north of Houston, received upwards of 23 inches of rain over the past week. I'm Donna Water.
Stocks are trading higher now. The Dow up 58 points, the NASDAQ adding 114. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, an evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elite